Yes.
You guys are okay with everybody, right?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our town meeting, and I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. And first of all, we need an election of a moderator. We'll take nominations from the floor. Thank you. Any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and close the nominations. Thank you very much. So we have a special meeting of the electors and citizens tonight qualified to vote in town meetings of the town of Berlin will be held tonight at our town council chambers here on 240 Kensington Road, Berlin at 6:45 for the following purpose: approve a FY 25 non-budgeted appropriation of $140,000 from the general fund for a townwide water and sewer system study, subject to approval by the Board of Finance, and that's dated to the 10th of July. So now we'll go ahead and I'll just read the eligibility to vote. Are you going to read that, Kate? You want me to read it? All right, I'll read it. So eligibility to vote is an elector of such towns and any citizen of the United States of the age of 18 years or more who jointly or severally who is liable to the town for taxes assessed against him or her on an assessment of not less than $1,000 on the last completed grand list of such town that's referenced Connecticut General Statutes, Section 7-6. Now the clerk will read the notice.
Sorry, I thought you already read it.
I kind of did, but that's all right. We'll follow along with the program. I should follow the program.
A special meeting of the electors and citizens qualified to vote in the town meetings of the town of Berlin, held at the Berlin Town Hall, Council Chambers, 245 Kensington Road. I'm sorry, 240 Kensington Road, Berlin, Connecticut, on Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024, at 6:45 p.m. for the following purpose: to approve an FY 25 non-budgeted appropriation of $140,000 from the general fund for a townwide water and sewer system study, subject to approval by the Board of Finance, dated at Berlin, Connecticut, this 10th day of July, 2024.
All right, thank you. To the official reading. Okay, so is there a resolution to come before the town meeting?
Approve a fiscal year 25 non-budgeted appropriation of $140,000 from the general fund for a townwide water and sewer system study, subject to approval by the Board of Finance.
Think there's a second on that? Okay, so discussion on the resolution. Maybe should we get just a rough summary from Ray? Yeah, just give us a little information for ourselves to refresh our memories. We already heard this, but for the folks here,
Okay,
the town meeting.
this bid proposal was made in last March for a townwide survey. At the time, we weren't sure what the funding source would be, but we thought it would be a requirement to actually go out to bid to see what the evaluations and requirements would be in the study. Two bidders came back. BPC Engineering came back with a proposal of $199,000. Haley Ward, which was formerly Leonard Engineering, also worked with Tillis, which is a firm that does financial analysis, and came back with a proposal of $128,000. And since then, we have been looking at this proposal, and we're thrilled that the town has taken the initiative to actually fund it from their dollar amount. And basically, what we're looking at is an evaluation of all the infrastructure of the three utilities, whether to see there's an opportunity for a merger of any kind, or what the best benefit is for the town in terms of an operation process. The infrastructure is essential because, as I pointed out many times before, East Berlin Fire District went defunct and handed the keys over to the Department so the Berlin Water Control was created. And basically, any entity at this point in time, whether it be Kensington or Worthington, goes defunct for any reason, then the town would be obviously obligated to take it over initially. And then was a big step. So we really want to know what the infrastructure status is of each of the utilities. I don't know if we want to go into a little bit more detail.
If we, have questions from the council or the folks, certainly it's a public meeting, so if anyone has questions on what we're talking about, yes, sir. No, you have no questions, okay, sorry. Thought you were waving at me. You're just waving, huh? Bruce, that's okay. Anyone else? Any questions? Yes, sir. Yes?
District was required.
Yes.
Been in town for 48 years. When I first came in.
Yeah, we should.
When I first came into the town, you know, I always thought that the fire district was supporting the fire department. All right, not the water and sewer. All right, and as a member for 48 years, I've been getting double taxed in reference to the real estate. So I think it's well overdue that study be done and determine whether or not we should dissolve these districts and have one district, because the water's coming from the same place.
Mhm.
All right, and I'm like 100 feet away from the Berlin water. Like, how do I get there? All right, so I think this is well overdue.
It is, that you do understand though that
It's up to the districts.
you folks can vote them out of existence if you'd like to. The
I
town has no control over
I
that,
understand that.
as well as the Kensington one,
I understand.
up to the people in the district. Yeah. I know it's been
It's been a battle.
it's battle. Well, yeah, that's why we're gonna do a little study and see what maybe we can do to make it better for everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that.
Sebby's my neighbor. He asks me almost every week how he can be on the Berlin water control systems. And I tell him I can't do anything for him.
You move, yeah, that's it. That's all you can do. Anyone else? Any other? Yes, sir.
I'm gonna need your name and address.
My name is David Darrow. I live at 84 Church Street and I live in the Kensington Fire District. I have been on Church Street for 32 years. I am also a commissioner in the Berlin district now, but I am new, so I'm still learning about water, sewer, and everything that goes on underneath the ground. But I have been familiar with the Kensington district. And, I always wondered why a town that has 20,000 people, give or take, 10,000 dwellings, why we have 3 water companies. I also wondered, didn't anyone ever take economics in college and learn the theory of the economy of numbers? And we all end up knowing that when you divide your forces, you are not as strong. Why they are not together. I have gone to several meetings. Each time I've been at a meeting, I have been the only citizen there. And they all look at you like, who are you? The first time I went, I wanted to know why I could not get an outside meter. Because Berlin allowed you to have an outside meter. I happen to be one of these people that likes a green lawn. Until, of course, I had to pay water and sewer charges. So I ended up going to the meeting and I said, why can't I have an outside meter? We don't do that. That's it. That's the answer. We just don't do that. They now allow it. But by the time you get done paying for a plumber, a new meter and everything else, you might as well water your grass. The last meeting that I ended up going to, I did ask a couple of questions. And one was that why is it at the end of a billing period, like the end of June, I do not get my bill until September? 2 months. They all look at each other like, okay, who's going to answer this question? The tax collector or the person that collects it, she ended up saying, well, if you really want to know how much water you use, you can go online and see how much water. I said, well, then I have to compute how much it's going to cost me and all of that. I said, I'm the customer. I said, I get my electric bill within 4 or 5 days, my gas bill within 4 or 5 days, my credit card bills. What is it that takes you so long? You have all the data downloaded within 2 days, but it takes you 2 months. I never got an answer. I asked, why don't you charge more for water and sewer? So I'm not taxed. One of the commissioners got up and he says, you don't know how much it's going to rain during the summertime. I went, really? That is your answer? You don't know how much it's going to rain? I wanted to ask one more question, but I was afraid I would get thrown out of the meeting. And that was, why do commissioners in Kensington and Worthington Ridge get paid? Why are they not commissioners for the love of Berlin? But I didn't ask the question. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, any,
Mr. Mayor.
oh, yes, Jeff, of course.
Just one comment in response to the public comment. I think it's important to know that the Kensington Fire District and the Worthington Fire District were created in 1928 by special legislation of the Connecticut General Assembly. They're not entities that are created under the town charter or by the town council by ordinance. They were created by the legislature. So that's part of the, people say, well, why do you have 3 fire districts? Didn't you take economics? That's a question that really needs to be posed to the legislature more than it does to the town council.
Yeah, it's a good point. And of course, that was 1929. Might have been some good reasons back then, but 28, okay, 28. But probably today there are no good reasons. And remember, we had another district too, right? We had East Berlin, was a separate water district 15 years ago now, 20?
Well, we were created in 66, and so that's the year that they went to talk, but they were also created in the early 20s.
The same thing, yeah. Originally, right, yeah. So, and the town did take them over, and I think we had a lot of work to do, if I'm not.
We still do.
We still do, okay, so. Anyway, that's why we're doing a study, to just work on this and see if there's any solutions that makes everybody happy, but we know that won't happen. But no, we're going to try to do the best we can with the water districts and work together and for everybody. So anyway, any other questions? Hearing none, okay, we'll go ahead and take a vote on our resolution to appropriate the money. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, so moved, and we'll go ahead and call our meeting adjourned. Thank you. Town, give us a few minutes and we'll start our council meeting.
Joe.
Yes, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our town council meeting. If you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Kate.
Here. Here. Mayor Kaczynski.
Here.
Andrew Panessa.
Here.
Here.
Russo.
Here.
Anthony.
Yeah, she might be calling in. She's gonna be a little bit late tonight, but so,
We have a quorum, Mayor.
we're good, right? We're good. So we have next on our agenda is our audience of citizens, but what I'd like to start that off with is, unfortunately, we have a sad night tonight. It is our last council meeting with our town manager, Roche, who's been here 5 years now, I believe, right? Hard to believe. Time flies when you're having fun, huh, Roche? I know it was all fun for you. It was all great, right? Yeah, yeah, at least for you, yeah. It's fun for everybody. But so, yeah, we want to say a few words about you this evening, and we'll do it at the start of the audience of citizens. I know you have a kind of a going away party, which I'm sure some of us will attend on Friday at 11, I believe, right? In Town Hall, so we're sorry to see you go. Tried to talk you out of it, but you're off to whatever fun stuff you're going to be doing, so good for you. So I have a proclamation, but we can start with some comments from the council maybe, and then we can open up the audience of citizens, whoever wishes to say anything and speak. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. Peter.
You don't want to follow this, I'll tell you. I'd be remiss if I didn't say a few words about Arosh. When he first took the job, we sat down and I talked a little bit about Berlin. I said, it's Berlin, never Berlin. And there's 4 boroughs, Kensington, East Berlin, Berlin, South Kensington. And that Berlin is really a drinking town with a sports problem. And he got the point immediately, and we did well together in the last 5 years. Despite the town council, Arosh has made strides in town government and reorganizing. But I think my biggest laud goes out for how he handled the pandemic. I mean, our town hall was open to a point, accessible. Other town halls were paralyzed, and we thrived. And I'd have to thank Arosh for that. We had a problem 5 years ago when the person who we were going to ultimately hire, at our last interview, some unpleasantries came up, and there was no way we could hire that individual. And so I think it was Denise Parsons that gave us Arosh's name.
Yes.
From UHAR, and
Yes.
he sat down and we knew right away that he was the right guy for the job. I was fortunate enough to be on the initial search committee for a town manager in 94, 95, and Bonnie Therian was our ultimate choice, but she was clearly heads and above everybody, as Arosh was. So I had the same feeling, and I know he would come through. So Arosh, this is it. All the best. You're more than a colleague, you're a friend. And if there was a key to this town, you're the key. Now, we used to have keys to the town, but it must have been in Capitol. No one could find them. But anyway, when I see Arosh, I think of that famous Roman leader, Veni, Vidi, Vici. He came, he saw, and he observed and gained greater control for us on the town government and the town hall. So to my friend, Ti auguro il meglio, which for my British friends mean, I wish you all the very best.
Here.
And it gets like the Godfather.
Hold up on the
He didn't really say how we found out about the one candidate we were thinking of. Was thank God for social media, and thank God somebody checked social media. But yeah, it was apparent, Arosh, you were head and shoulders above that person anyway, even before we checked social media. So not to worry. Anyone else here,
Hey,
folks? Anyone?
Arosh, it's been an honor and a privilege to have met you and worked with you. I've been here a short time, coming onto the council and everything, but every time I've been in town hall, you've even if you're on the phone, you always come on in and say hello and everything. Anytime I needed something and everything, you were there for me. You know, you're gonna truly be missed by everybody. I think you've done an outstanding job, but again, you know, it's been a short time that I've known you, but I want to thank you for your time and everything else. I could remember that first meeting with you. It was 2 hours meeting all department heads, and I said, what the hell did I get myself into? But it's truly been a learning experience, and I just want to thank you for everything you've done. You're welcome.
I guess I would just say thank you for your graciousness and your professionalism. It's always been appreciated. And I will say what I said to you just a few minutes ago, which is I wish we had more time. Yeah. So thank you for everything.
Sandy?
It's hard to follow Peter. I mean, come on, jeez. But I
He's the elder statesman here, that's why.
oh,
Real elder.
I came on town council mid-session because I was a replacement when Brendan stepped down, and you know, you made the transition for me very easy, both you and Kate, and so I want to appreciate that. Same thing with trying to coordinate with my schedule with work and everything else to try and meet the department heads and meet with IT and everything, and your, you know, your assistance here with the town council and the meetings, and then just when I had a sorry, when I lost my dad, you couldn't have been more gracious with your reaching out, and that was appreciated as well, because that just showed that you go, you know, it's not just work. So I want to, you know, thank you for that as well, and wish you all the best in your retirement.
I hope the next part of your life brings you the same success you had here. Good luck.
Thanks. I'll save my stuff for the end, but few words and a few things. So anyone in the audience? Jeff, of course, yes.
So Arosh and I have had a chance to talk quite a bit the last couple of months, but you know, the stuff that we do, people don't see. It's kind of how the sausage is made. But the same professionalism and calm demeanor that you see in public with Arosh is what I always saw every day that he was here. 5 years, 7 months? That sound right? 5 years? So a lot of the stuff that Peter said, you know, during COVID, you never had any difficulty reaching Arosh. And, you know, I represent a lot of municipalities, and I said right from the beginning, when the mayor had asked me how I thought we were doing about 6 months into the pandemic, I said, really, the employees haven't missed a beat. Town operations, you couldn't tell that there was any disruption due to the pandemic. And he made it seem easy, and the employees made it seem easy, but it certainly was not. And, you know, Arosh brought right from day one a very professional approach, a very constituent-friendly approach to town hall. And I'll certainly miss dealing with him. And again, the responsiveness, we got a lot done in short periods of time because Arosh was able to not only bring the demeanor, but he's also a very smart guy. So I'll miss you. Keep in touch.
Thank you, Jeff. All right, audience? Yeah, absolutely. Come on up. Yeah, of course.
Joanne Angelico Stetson, 188 Stony Mill Lane. The Berlin Democratic Town Committee would like to thank Arosha Jayawikrama for his service to Berlin as he sits at his final town council meeting, retiring. His excellence over the course of the last 5.5 years as Berlin's town manager leaves an indelible mark, and it's important he's recognized for his accomplishments. Arosh, as he's affectionately called, retires having overseen the execution of multiple effective grant applications for bridge repairs, recreational development, HVAC improvements at our elementary schools, police department, economic development and improvement projects, numerous budget preparations and referendums, town facilities administration, and navigating the unique perspectives and personalities of the town council, the Board of Finance, and all boards and commissions. Finding a town manager is no easy process, especially in Berlin. But finding one who embraces the position with purpose, perspective, and accessibility is a testament to the high level of performance by which Arosh operates. Berlin was incredibly fortunate having him at the helm. Arosh, you will be missed. You leave behind big shoes to be filled. Members of the Berlin Democratic Town Committee applaud your time as town manager and wish you well as you enter this new phase of life. From a personal perspective, I was a town councilor and was part of the hiring process with Arosh. We had some great candidates, but Arosh, in addition to his experience, exuded a sense of calm, just a very level demeanor, which was wonderfully refreshing. I'm proud of the decision we made to bring you on board because our town and our residents have benefited greatly. You handled yourself and others, certainly professionally, but also with patience, civility, and humanity, and qualities that any person in any leadership role should exemplify, but are sorely lacking these days. I would imagine there's no better feeling than heading into retirement, knowing that your daughters are successful and in good places in their lives, and that you have plans to continue to travel the world with your partner in life. Enjoy every moment of peace and quiet and adventure. And we thank you so much for your service to Berlin.
Thank you, Joanne. Anyone else in the audience? Any comments, anybody? All right, and you still have time to roast him on Friday. See him done. So Arosh, I've got a proclamation, of course. I don't have a frame on mine now. Oh boy, all right, we'll get that done by Friday. We'll get a frame for you, yeah. No, it was obvious when you came for that, for the interview committee back then, there was a couple other choices, but I think you definitely stood out. I think our question, of course, we did talk about it a little bit was, well, I don't know, he's from, higher education there, he's coming to the town, I don't know. I mean, self-professed, you knew you had no experience, but we certainly knew from interviewing you and talking with you, your background preceded you, and obviously a distinguished career at University of Hartford. So we're glad you showed up for the interviews, and we're happy you made it through the process. And that is the one thing, I think we've all kind of said it. You did bring, which we don't always need in Berlin, but you did bring a calmness to everything, because nobody gets emotional in this town about anything. So we're all very calm. But so it's very good that you were very calm with all your interactions, certainly with the council, with the public, with the staff, I'm sure. Well, that maybe they could tell more stories, but no, I know you always have that calming influence and kind of get through the business and take care of it. Always very professional. And our interactions together, obviously, we talk probably almost every day, probably more than I talk to my wife. So for that big paycheck, no, it's been a great time. I was not the day that Arosh called me one day and said, I got to talk to you. I said, okay. It's a personnel matter. And I said, all right, on the phone, will that work? No, you got to come. I said, this is not going to be good. Thinking, God only knows what it would be. But so when I saw you the next day, maybe later that day, but you told me you were resigning, and that was not what I had hoped to hear. I mean, better than I thought. Something was maybe much worse. That was bad enough. But so yeah, I tried to talk you out of it, but he wouldn't listen, of course. Tried to pay him off. He wouldn't take a payment to stay. But we really, appreciate you, the time you've put into the town. And we also appreciate from a charter perspective that you moved to town. Very refreshing. We didn't have to beat you up and threaten and anything, or you didn't walk away. So that was another part of your professionalism. You knew what, we had mentioned to you. We didn't necessarily set a deadline, but, you did that, which was a breath of fresh air as well. So definitely appreciate all the work you've done for the town, and, you know, we've certainly, with your help and advice and cooperation, you know, we've moved the town through a lot of different issues. Certainly, as has been mentioned, the pandemic was probably the biggest thing we faced, and we did come through that with your leadership really very, very well. So with that, let me read this Roche Eber proclamation. Upon your retirement from the town of Berlin, Roche was originally appointed as interim town manager on July 8th, 2019. So exactly the 5 years, just perfect. For a period of 6 months, that was your interim appointment. 6 months, however, turned into 5 years. Roche has previously retired from the University of Hartford as the Vice President of Finance and Administration, but had held several positions over his time there. He received his Bachelor of Business Administration and Accounting from the University of Texas and his Master of Business Administration and Accounting and Finance from the University of Hartford. Over the years of Roche, the town you oversaw many changes, and again, as mentioned before, the most significant is during COVID. You kept the town services running with offices open to the public via appointment or access to drop boxes. Zoom meetings became the norm, and conference rooms were outfitted with all the necessary components. You were able to get the leash law passed, and a dog park created at Pistol Creek after many years in the making. That itself is quite the accomplishment. So we really appreciate that. I don't know how long that people have spoken about the dog park. You were instrumental in overseeing many infrastructure projects within the town, such as the police department renovation. Finally got that done. I'm sure the police department's happy with that. Almost done, I understand. HVAC for schools, playing field improvements. You were a strong and fair leader, having unique ability to remain calm. Again, that word comes up with you, and professional, the two words that definitely describe your time, even under the most stressful situations. You entrusted your managers and department heads with the confidence to make decisions in the best interest of the town. Your guidance was thoughtful and support was constant. Customer service was your top priority, and you stressed the importance of customer service, not only when serving the public, but also internally amongst staff. Your open door policy was a reflection to this principle. So in recognition of your years of service to the town of Berlin and many contributions you made to improve the quality of life
Sometimes.
many of our townspeople, the town council hereby salutes town manager
I've been there.
and extends to him best wishes for a long and happy retirement. So thank you, Roche, very much.
Scene from The Godfather.
So anyway. Thank you. Any words tonight?
Oh, my goodness.
Or you want to save it for Friday, whatever you.
I'll save it for Friday, but a couple of comments. My initial reaction, I remember when Denise Parsons called me and said, we're looking for an interim town manager. I said, why are you calling me? I have no experience in government. He says, no, it's pretty much similar to what you did at the university, different scale. When I interviewed for the job, Mark, Iraso, Charlie were there. The three musketeers are the originals here. And then you had Brendan Luddy, Alex, Joanne, and Karen.
That's right.
That was it, right? So if anyone's to be blamed, they're the group that made the decision. But I truly fell in love with the town. I remember when I first started, the town department heads were so warm and welcoming. Everyone came one after the other and just offered to help. And I was really surprised. And they took the time from their schedules, took me around town, introduced to everyone. Must have met 100-something people, all of them. In addition to that, just residents dropped by. I mean, that was July, so they were there to pay taxes. I know that.
But they came in to say, we're here, there's a new town manager, we want to wish you well. And there was a just really nice feeling about it. And I'm really appreciative of the council. We have dealt with some tough issues, but you've been very supportive right throughout. This is government. We don't sometimes agree on everything. But I very soon learned, compared to my role that I had before, it is not my agenda to drive things here. It is the government of the people select the council, and the council sets the plan and the agenda for the town. So I sometimes give not all the time, give my professional opinion and my advice and counsel. And if a lot of the times they take it, sometimes they go in a different direction, which is fine. That's their job. They want to do what's right for the town. I think a lot of people lose sight of that, come to serve government and think, well, town manager is going to come and, take things and move things around. It's not my agenda. I did have my own agenda when I worked with the president of the University of Hartford, but that's what the board empowered you to do. So once I understood that very quickly, it was a lot easier to do it. Nothing was personal, things that we did. So real big thanks to my colleagues at the town. Not once I had to say something twice. You all got together and figured out how to solve problems and get things done. And I wouldn't have been able to, all these things we talked about, that Joanne read. That's the team some of them are here, others are the Zoom meeting, and town support. We wouldn't have been able to do it. It is a lot easier to do this job when you have professional staff and competent staff who know what they're doing about. I just have to be like the leader of the orchestra, just make sure that everybody sings in harmony, and that's what happened. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate everything that you have done, and it has been an honor and a privilege to be part of Berlin. And I look forward to staying in touch with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Roche. And we weren't gonna let you get away easy. We got a whole council meeting to do now. Yes. Sorry.
That's the entertainment part of this.
Yeah, that's it. The rest of them won't be as fun. Sorry. So we're still in our audience of citizens. So Chief, you wanna? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we got a list before. Gotcha. Okay, Bill Richards, William Richards.
William Richards, 811 Orchard Road, Kensington.
Welcome.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Town Manager, can't say your last name, but and Town Council. I'm a commissioner on the Berlin Golf Commission and fully endorse the bonding request of the Timberland Golf Course improvements that will be addressed by the Director of Golf, Saul Guerrero, later this evening. Capital improvements to the course undoubtedly will be appreciated by our leagues, citizens, and out-of-towners that bring revenue to the Timberland. Improved play and general enjoyment of our outstanding golf course will abound. The cost of the improvements will pay for themselves over time via reasonably increasing rates and expanding the player population. Once players see the course improvements, they will accept any reasonable price increases. Timberland was chosen as the 2024 recipient of the Walter Lowell Public Golf Course Distinguished Service Award. This award is given to a golf course that demonstrates dedication, promotion, advancement, and accessibility to the game of golf, which Timberland definitely excels in. The bottom line is the bridge and the bunker improvements will increase customer satisfaction, increase the future growth and revenue, and lower maintenance costs. Please approve the bonding request. Let's keep the good work going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck, Arosh.
Gail, you're up next.
Good evening. Gail Lemire, 102 Wildemere Road. I also am a member of the Golf Commission. And I know that that's on the agenda tonight, what Bill discussed, the bonding for the bunkers and the renovations. And I just wanted to provide some background to members of the council and the public that since the commission's inception in 2017, the net revenues from Timberland Golf Course have been about $500,000. $500,000, that's $500,000. It has been returned to the general fund. So certainly the golf course is an asset to the town. This year, my understanding is that there's about $70,000 of our proceeds that are going to be set aside in a CRN fund for capital improvement. So thank you, because those are desperately needed, and that's what we need to do is invest in this asset that we have. You know, the bunker renovations are desperately needed if we're going to stay competitive, and we have a competitive market with Hunter and Rockledge and Stanley well in the area. They're all doing major improvements. We have the highest rates of all of those courses. So I think we really have to look at what we're giving our consumers for their dollars. The bridge work is needed from a safety standpoint. We have to ensure that the bridges are safe for not only the golfer traffic, but if we ever had to get emergency vehicles out there, we need to ensure safety for all that would use those bridges. Timberland had over 42,000 starts this past year, which is an amazing amount of play. And we've brought revenue into the town year after year. So I certainly hope the council will look favorably upon the bonding for the work that needs to be done there, so we can continue to have a great asset that we do at Timberland Golf Course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gail. That's it on the list. Joanne was on if she's already spoke. So still the audience of citizens, actually, before we get to the police department and the chief. Anyone else on any other issues? Anything on our agenda? Not anybody online, Kate? There's nobody. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, come on. How are you tonight? Good.
Right. So my name is Karen Heemsoth and I live at 3 Watch Hill Road. I've been here a couple of times. And I was kind of reflecting on some dialogue that we had at some of these meetings about engagement with our community and accurate information, and looking at voter turnout. I believe at the last referendum, we had like 4.5% of folks come out and vote on the referendum. And I really started thinking about what is that all about? So I'm kind of setting up a scenario. Let's pretend I'm new to Berlin. I don't know anything about the town. Where do I go and find out all about the happenings that are occurring in Berlin? You know, do I go on Facebook? Do I go on the town website? Where is that I go to get the information? And you know, what I'm seeing is that you can go on the department websites and take a look at the agendas and kind of like dig through and kind of see disc golf was discussed, or, you know, a needs assessment for the community center and senior center was discussed. But it's really hard to kind of like weed through that because there's so many agendas and they're by date. They're not by like topic or information content. And so, you know, in looking at that, I wasn't sure if it was just me, but I wanted to suggest that the town council take a look at the different sources of media, including the town website, which says follow us on Facebook for information, and go take a look at the Facebook website. Park and Rec has really increased the amount of communication on there, which is great, about like swimming lessons, about like the need for increased lifeguards and whatnot. But I just wonder about like just big financial decisions and just like big groundbreaking things in town, if it might be worth reconsidering how information is going out. One of my friends lives in Farmington, and I know we're not Farmington, but I really thought this was
We're better than Farmington, but
Because I know like Rocky Hill is very comparable in terms of population, revenue, and all of that. So like we're not, looking at the profile. But this was sent out by Unionville Talks, Farmington Town Council Chair Joe. And I'll give this to you folks. It says, we invite all residents to join us on this digital journey by following our pages and actively participating in that online conversation. Your involvement is critical as we strive to make Farmington an even better place to live, work, and play. So in seeing this, I'm like, what are we doing as a community? I grew up in Berlin and I remember coming home and taking a look at the Berlin Citizen. And that was my way, like in elementary school, junior, high school, even, when I was an undergrad, hearing about Berlin news. And now we don't have that. So, I just think it might be worth taking a look at it and seeing, like, I know on our town website, it says in the spotlight, and it did make reference to, the senior center receiving an award that 1 out of 7 senior centers in the nation received. And there were some other really good references, but I think there were 6 or 7, and that's about it. And I'm just wondering if we might be able as a town to look at increased accurate dialogue, and increased timeliness in terms of delivering information to citizens. I'm not here with answers, but I just want to encourage everybody to see how can we pull everybody together, because there's so much misinformation, on Berlin Talks, Berlin Buzz, and then we have the town website. And I noticed that Park and Rec, it seems like, and the library are posting a lot, like they're taking accurate information that's like approved by the town and reposting it. And to me, that is just amazing, because I know I'm getting authentic information. But again, just wanted to bring that up to the town that I try to be informed, and even sometimes I'm not sure what's going on. Like even the pool at Hubbard, my understanding is that, that area is being re-looked at in terms of how can we better the town. But it didn't seem like that information got out to everybody in a very timely manner. So I'm wondering, if we're taking all this money to do surveys and proposals and stuff, how do we just get that out to everybody? And perhaps it's like a survey. Maybe I'm one of the few people in town. But if the town wanted to get more information, like, do you feel like you're well educated to citizens? The library did a survey. Where do you get your information from, so that you're not recreating like a platform? But I just think, just kind of like looking at it, we're in a new age in the Berlin Citizen, and kind of what we have, I think is lacking. So I just wanted to bring into and increase attention to that. And I'm willing, and I know folks are willing to work with the town, as like a volunteer kind of thing, just to kind of elevate our communication. So that was what I just wanted to present.
Great. Appreciate that. We'll look at that. Yeah. Anyone else in the audience? Nobody online, right, Kate? No? Hands up. Okay, so, oh yeah, you were gonna give us that. Thank you. Now we're definitely gonna have to outdo Farmington and Rocky Hill too. I mean, come on, they can't beat us on getting information out there. We'll work on that. We do need to. It's difficult. It is difficult, though. We've tried. Just the one thing you mentioned, which has been the most frustration I think we've all had on this council, no matter, when we're here, is getting information out to, especially the budget vote. That's probably the most, one of the most important votes we have. And no matter what, postcards to the house, posted signs, Facebook, you name it, doesn't bring people to vote for the budget. We just wish a much larger amount would come out and vote, but we will continue to work on that, and with other projects too. It is difficult to get people in this day and age to, quite frankly, pay attention to stuff until at the last minute. Sometimes the word gets out, and by then we've maybe moved down the road too far. But anyway, yeah, that's all good stuff. All right, so if there's nobody else, so Chief, you want to start with whatever? I know you got, I think, a couple topics, right? You wanted to?
Yeah, I think we should start with the report about the bicycle issue.
Sure.
If I can have pencil and Detective Chief Connell. This was in result weeks ago when I jumped on Zoom. You gave me 5 things to do.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, notice I'm here now.
Yeah.
I didn't listen the first time.
Yeah.
Good evening, council members. Lieutenant Solik from the Berlin Police Department. I just want to provide an update. I was here in March, I believe it was, to present what we were doing to address the bike safety issues in the community. I think it's our goal as a police department to help provide a safe environment for our youth and our teens to enjoy all the outdoor spaces we have in town, the parks, sidewalks. They're going to travel from place to place, and we want it to be as safe as possible. As comfortable as parents are allowed them to do so based on their age. So some of the things that we outlined back in March are programs that we've started since then are the Safe Kids Wear Lids. And we've got that program up and running like we do every year, very effective, and it gets our officers talking to kids on an everyday basis when they come across them in the community. We've increased our bike patrols. I can tell you that from about April until now, as staffing is allowed, which is not always, but we have employed over a dozen specific bike patrols, which is officers out on the bikes trying to find, people in the community, stopping on businesses, and they see kids at parks and interact with them and just, on an everyday basis. I think that helps to see them as everyday people, not just police officers. We've partnered with the Berlin High School students just before the end of the school year. They produced a video with Officer DePinto, our SRO, and some of our bike patrol officers. They made a video. Some of you may have seen it out on Facebook and Instagram to try to highlight bike safety in the community and what they should be doing to stay safe while riding their bikes. And we're currently in the planning stages of a bike safety event that I think is going to take place in the end of August. So you'll be seeing information on that coming out throughout the summer. When we start advertising, that'll be kind of a combination child safety seat, bike safety type event in town. So that should be pretty productive. And then the last part is obviously what we see in the community and responding to citizen complaints, responding to unsafe operating on roads of kids, and partnering with parents, really, because that's where it starts with juveniles is the parents. The last place we want to end up is actually us pulling out enforcement and sending kids to juvenile court. And we really want these issues to be tackled at home in partnership with the police department. And Detective Chafee, our juvenile detective, is going to come up and highlight what we've seen in our calls related to these instances, which I could tell you just personally going around town on a day-to-day basis, and what we see on the internet, Facebook, Instagram comments, and the calls we get. We have seen a decrease from what we were seeing back in March and April when we first began, this bike season this year, I can tell you. So I'll invite Detective Chafee to come up and highlight what we've seen.
How are you?
Evening.
Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me back. So I'm Detective Kevin Chafee. I'm assigned to do all of our juvenile stuff. I'm working our youth bureau. So obviously this all is in my wheelhouse. What I'm dealing with amongst other things.
And you're young too. That's great.
Oh yes,
that's
I
good.
really
Yeah.
I try to anyways. So I spoke back in March along with Lieutenant Solik about this issue when it first came out. So at that time, I kind of did the first, I guess that's 2.5 months or so of data that we had. It was a lot more prevalent, I think, at the time. We saw, obviously a serious crash happen, which kind of prompted us to take a look at all this. We had a lot more incidents with traffic related things with kids on bicycles at that time. So now looking back at it and seeing the update on it, I just wanted to kind of give you an overview of what we're seeing now. In looking back in March, at the time, 2.5 months in, we had what I would say is probably around 5 traffic related specific incidents where we had kids on bicycles. And just looking back at it, there was only one occasion where we actually did identify the kids that were called about, where we were able to give a warning. And all the other ones, they either fled before we got there, or we just didn't locate them, which was common in the beginning. Now looking at where we're at obviously in July, looking at, I guess that's what, 4.5 months now. Looking at it, we see that there's probably about 7 total. So it's not a drastic change, but the biggest improvement I want to highlight in it is that in all the cases that I'm looking at for the 7 reported traffic related specific cases with juveniles on bikes, we've identified the juveniles that were responsible for it. We've involved their parents. Just looking back in the different months, I think in each month it looks like we probably April, May, June, July, we average about 2. So 2 traffic related incidents. And by incidents, I mean, not that there was any kind of crash or anything like that, but there was a complaint. Officers went out, we identified some juveniles that were maybe not operating bikes safely, or there was some type of incident where a crash almost happened, but thankfully didn't. And in most of those cases, we had probably April, we had 1 parental referral. May, we had 3 parental referrals. June, we had 4, and July, we had 2. So progress that we're seeing is, although there's not a drastic change in how many traffic related incidents we're responding to, every single one since March, we've identified the youths that were responsible. We've warned them, we've educated them on the safety of operating their bike in the roadway or where else they can ride it that's not in the roadway. That creates a hazard. But as Lieutenant Solik was saying too, the most important thing is we're trying to partner with parents. And by our parent referrals, you can see that obviously we're doing the job out there of at least involving the parents and trying to get them to intervene with us, to try and make them understand why it's unsafe and that we're not trying to have another incident where somebody gets hurt. We've implemented all of the things that Lieutenant Solik had addressed first. They're presented in March. We've had success with it all. I think the numbers show that. It's kind of a wide range of ages that we've been dealing with, anywhere from as young as 11 to about 16. So there hasn't been, thankfully, many repeat offenders. So we haven't taken necessarily any enforcement action on our end. There hasn't been any yet. There hasn't been any juvenile review boards or referrals, or there hasn't been any enforcement action, no summonses that I'm seeing that are issued. So we are handling it right now on a parental level, which is great. It's kind of the goal. And hope we don't see repeat offenders anywhere. But that being said, we are monitoring our common offenders. So if it's at that point, our officers have been more than informed that they're all in the rights to relay it over to me to try and get us involved in a juvenile review board, which would be the next step, if we have that option to try and avoid court. But if it has to result in a summons being issued, that's just kind of where the department's at as like a last resort. So, but there has been improvement, I think, overall. And
Great.
questions then?
Questions, folks? Any questions? We good?
Yeah, just one, I'm glad to see that. Chief, it was me that talked to you last time over the Zoom, but when we went back and talked in March, one of the reasons why I did ask for the update is, just to give you a typical example, you guys can't be everywhere all the time. I was at Stop and Shop, and you got 2 kids right in the middle of the street doing wheelies, and you have to stop the car because, you don't want to see the kids get hurt. So it's good to see that you're involved with the parent, getting them involved, the parents involved, and giving them the warnings, and they're aware of what's going on. So thank you for your work, and thank you for the update.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I bike a lot with Suburban and a bunch of others with DMT and stuff like that. I brought it up, I'm in the VLCD, but I'm also chairman of Water and Sewer. And I brought up the subject matter of bicycle friendly town. Whereas New Britain has bicycle lanes, we don't. So we need to do some investigating.
You gotta be on the mic. I mean, you can't just talk from the audience.
Come on, Bruce. Come on. You can do it. They want to hear it.
I totally appreciate what you're doing with the juniors and the kids and stuff like that, because I know I have those wheelies going down my street and I gotta watch out for the kids. But I also bike a lot, and I've done over-centered rides. And we don't have what other towns have in respect to bicycle lanes or something like that to keep people off the middle of the road.
And I asked in the PLCD meeting the last time we met, what kind of things, and Jim Mahoney's on there, what we could do to do bicycle-friendly lanes, which we don't have. And that's what I would appreciate, some input from you guys, but also from the town. Okay. And I'm cool with it.
Thanks. Thanks, Chief, for the bicycle update. What? Yeah. What's next, Chief? I think I know.
So everybody's aware, or I believe everybody's aware, that, you know, we had a festival at the fairgrounds 2 weeks ago, the Greater Connecticut Pickle Festival, which had a huge turnout. And
who knew pickles were that popular?
I didn't know. But
sorry, couldn't resist.
it's true. And of course, as a result of severe traffic issues and a bunch of other issues that came to light, a crowd of about 25,000 people over 2 days. There's a lot of concern about events of that size and how an event that size happened with very limited planning. We had a meeting this afternoon. We did some after action reports at the police department. We had a meeting this afternoon with, I believe, all the stakeholders that were there. And so one of the things I did since that event was look at, okay, what are we doing with our bigger events? And the community is very popular, as you know. That property is very popular. When you have different people come up that are going to be trying to set events up, and they give you information, and the information 6 months out. The information originally was 1,500 people to 2,000 people over the course of 2 days when they applied for their permit. Our permitting process is a form that's a 2-page form that P&Z uses, but it doesn't give us enough information to accurately get intelligence on some of these things. So, which is common human foible, is after the horses run out of the barn, we shut the door, right? So what I did was I did some research, and I wanted to hand out to all the members here. I put together a 7-page document, we take one, and I also put together a possible draft form, which I also showed members today at the meeting, that I think we should be looking at to get a little bit more grasp on when people want to do these big events in our community, that we know more about them. And for lack of better terms, this is intelligence gathering. And yeah, you're gonna have, I got enough for everybody. I made 10.
Okay, good.
Here.
Did you make?
Here,
them
I'm waiting to see
yourself,
which one
though?
comes back.
Did you make them yourself, though?
Yes. Yes, my name's on it. I wrote it.
There any more?
Well, the first one I gave you really is kind of like, when do you determine, there's no set time to determine when something's going to be a large event or a small event, and there's a lot of different variables. So instead of giving you a class on how we should work with special events, I put it all in writing. Basic practice across the country, doing some review. And then also a draft form to get some more information. And today we had a meeting this afternoon, and we talked about a lot of the issues that came up, and they're public safety issues, not having proper amount of law enforcement officers, not having medical personnel, not having the fire service involved in the planning portion, because there was very little planning. The planning, and I stated this earlier today, and I'll state it again. We have a phenomenal fair. The fair runs like a clock, and we're very used to that. But it didn't just happen. It happened over years. The fair grew. We have, carve outs in our labor contract about staffing for the fair. Like in the police department, nobody can take that day off on the fair weekend. It's in the contract. And we don't have that issue with the fair. And it's, you say, okay, well, we don't have a lot of fairs. We have a fair, but we actually had a second fair this year, 2 weeks ago over pickles. And we were not in that mode or set up for the fair, which takes us all year. As soon as the fair ends, we start planning for the next fair. And one of the problems is that the event organizers didn't give us the information that they more than are aware that they were going to have a bigger crowd. So they're saying, hey, we're going to have 1,500 to 2,000 people in February. But since this happened and we started researching a little bit more about the event organizers, which by and large, law enforcement does not look into people other than to make sure they're not felons and they haven't committed a crime someplace before we give them a permit. So now we're looking and we're going to have to do backgrounds on every person that wants to have a special event in this community. Probably not. But what we do need to do is be consistent in how we treat events and also to realize that these events are going to get bigger. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing if you're bringing money into the community, but we definitely have to do a better job planning, and that's across the board. So all the stakeholders today were in the room. Since this afternoon, we've talked. Maureen Giusti had me send her my stuff. She's like, yeah, this is not a bad idea. So we're gonna, I don't see this happening again, except in 2 weeks. We're confronted with a similar situation where they're talking about up to 2,000 crowd, but today we're told by the Central Connecticut Health District guy that he put out 3 times the number of permits for vendors that they had originally put in their permit. And there's upwards of 8,000 people attending already. And anything over 5,000 people, we've got to start considering as a big special event. And that's a resource issue. So did we all get caught 2 weeks ago? Absolutely. Trying to get people in, trying to address things. And there was some minor mistakes or missteps and failures that created a situation, mostly a traffic situation for us. Nobody got hurt, which I'm really thankful for, because the first day they had no plan for heat casualties. And it was very warm, as you know, 2 weekends ago. And then the second day we were able to get Hunter's ambulance in, put ambulance on site, which is what we would do in a big event. We got the fire department to bring in a truck and some personnel, which was very important, right? Because you have these big mass events, we've got to have some planning. So that's what I gave you tonight. I don't expect you to read it and ask any questions right now, but I am just going to ask that you take a look at it. And my last paragraph states basically that I think we need to create a committee to review our existing policies, develop a new policy for future, if need be, and would probably need to propose an ordinance so we can clearly define the duties and responsibilities of all the stakeholders, not just fire, police, and EMS, but also, planning and zoning, and also the people that are going to hold these events. Plus, look at liabilities for the town. Sorry, Jeff. And with respect to large crowd attending special events, we got to look at the event organizers a little bit more too, and see who's going to hold these events. Just based on no statistical information, just rough numbers, we figured they made over $1 million at the gate. Yeah. That's pretty good. Not for us, but for them. We incurred some costs trying to respond to this. I was upset on Saturday night when we had talked to the promoter several times, from the Thursday before when she finally was able to get time to come see us through the event. Of course, on Sunday she says, well, we'll pay whatever the bill is. And I think that the town needs to make sure that bill is accurate, and because there's going to be a lot of money involved. And they are doing the Made in Connecticut event coming up in middle of August, and we're already trying to figure out how we're going to staff that, because even though I'm proposing this, it's going to be not something that we can get done in 2 weeks. So we're already working on that this afternoon. I'd rather take questions.
Appreciate, Chief, the briefing and, the road forward, which we
need a road forward.
We definitely
We can't
do.
Go backwards.
No, we can't go backwards. We don't want to go back to last time. Questions, folks? Any questions? Yes.
Just, did the Lions offer any, suggestions?
Sorry, that was gonna be my question.
Did the Lions offer any suggestions or solutions?
I haven't spoken with the Lions. One of my lieutenants is a Lion. And he asked today, as a result of the meeting we had this afternoon, he got a copy of the agreement and is gonna work with their attorney who represents, so that we can kind of look at if the way that their use permit is for the Lions. But I just want to be clear, this isn't just a Lions problem. This could be a problem any place in town. Today, we were told by the Economic Development, Chris Edge, that there's a possibility of a Halloween event or a Oktoberfest occurring downtown near the parking area, right?
Field Boulevard,
The-
Hops.
Yeah, so
Hops House, yeah.
so what we do in the future, we have to make sure it's gonna be good for everybody, you know? We're looking at the Lions, agreement, see what changes might work out ahead of time. The bigger problem is, for lack of better terms, people lie, or they mislead you. They tell you, well, we're only gonna have a couple thousand people because they don't want to pay for services across the board. Police, fire, EMS, town, you know, so, yeah, I'm gonna tell you, maybe I have less than 5,000 people coming, and we don't have anything that can tie them to those numbers to say, hey, listen, your event was this big this time. We need to make up the difference. And that's why we're kind of backing up on this pickle festival. But this should be taken as the wake-up call that we all have to do a little bit more due diligence, but also we got to realize that people are going to try and make the biggest amount of money that they can and pay out the littlest amount of money. That's business 101 in the United States, right? Capitalism. So I think that's part of our issue. And the sheets that is like a fill-in sheet. So, you know, we have a form, but we don't get the information that's on the one I just gave you. Because it just talks about, tell me how many people you're gonna have, what your organization is, and estimate how many people you think are coming. And they fill it out, and then it comes to me, goes to the fire administrator,
Yeah.
and planning and
Planning
zoning.
zone.
That's only 3 people. That you need to have more involvement,
Yeah.
and we need to get more accurate information. And the only way we're gonna get accurate information is we have to ask for it. That's why I have this proposed draft. So we can, now I would not say, let's throw out the form that we're using now. I would say we need to get more signatures on it. We need to have more involvement. We also talked today about a committee, and that's in my letter that I gave you. Having a special events committee. How many special events are we gonna have in a year here? It's not gonna be a weekly thing, but now we've had really 2 fairs so far this year, if you think about it. And we're all set for September. That's good, but we're not prepared for this one. And now we're rethinking, okay, the Made in Connecticut thing. You're saying 1,500 to 2,000 because that was the past amount of people that came. But you just told us 2,000, 1,500 to 2,000 people on this one, and you had an excess of 25,000 people over 2 days. By our best estimate.
The reason I ask about the Lions is they're good citizens. I mean, they do a lot for this town, and I think we should lean on their experience in this area. I think it would behoove us to
Yeah,
put
absolutely.
them on a committee if someone.
Yeah, we talked about that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would list them, I would consider
Yeah.
them a stakeholder.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
not to exclude other groups that also want to do events in town.
Yeah.
I mean, let me tell you, Thursday last week, I'm worried about the crowds coming to the locomotion concert in front of St. Paul's. We had 2 meetings, 3
Yes.
meetings on that.
Many meetings,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, we're thinking, how many people are
Yeah.
gonna get on that green and all?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, what just happened the weekend before? What if 10,000 people show up? We're not prepared for 10,000 people. It takes us months to be prepared for that amount. And so that's all in my letter.
And
Thank
Chief,
you.
just make sure that the town attorney with the contract, you know, when the Lions Club contract, if we start
Yeah,
talking
it
to
just got
them.
sent to me before I came up.
Yeah, I know.
Read it myself.
I know, Bob was gonna get it. So Jeff, just we just want to see if there's anything, right? We talked
Oh,
about
yeah,
it
they're
today.
willing to make changes.
Yeah, make some
So-
changes and so the promoter is more informed on what they need, what they're responsible for and what they got to tell the town.
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
to find a way to hold the promoter.
Yes,
responsible.
absolutely.
That's
No,
why I think the
Yeah.
a proposed ordinance of some type that.
yeah, yeah, we
gives
could
them,
work on that.
hey, if you do this and this happens.
Yeah.
You're responsible
Yeah.
for it. We don't really have that right now.
No, and then but the good thing we found out though today was the numbers, if we, if we can't believe the promoter, which obviously in this case we couldn't, was the health department, right? Because he gets a little bit more notice because he's all the permits are
Yeah,
running
so
through
what they
him,
told
right?
us Today.
Yeah.
For the one that's coming up.
Yeah.
They already had 30
Yeah,
vendor permits and they're still telling us.
yeah, what are they saying?
10,
10,
12,
yeah,
no,
10,
12.
yeah,
had
so they
12.
tripled
He's
them.
already issued
Yeah,
30.
he knows already, yeah. So we got to coordinate with Central Connecticut Health District because
Yeah,
they know.
we'll have that, it's in my letter.
It's in there,
Now
yeah.
that should be in there.
Yeah,
Whoever your health department is, it's a very generic idea, but
Yeah.
the idea is to have a plan.
He definitely knew what Sandy.
And I will go through this definitely, but not looking at it yet. Is there anything in there that maybe we can have the promoter or the person in charge of these events provide us documentation? For example, we did it last year in Guilford and we had 1,500 people. Great, show me your receipts, show me your numbers. Maybe a month out before we do something here. A lot of the tickets are sold online ahead of time. Maybe there's a way we can work into it, something that, 30 days or
So
45
on the
days
last
out.
page of the draft application, I spelled that out in the last page.
Okay,
60 days, 30 days, 7 days.
okay,
When did the majority of the tickets get sold for the Pickle Festival? Between Thursday and Saturday. And on Saturday night at 11 o'clock, she was online on social media, lowering the price to get more people to come on Sunday.
Yeah.
But she didn't want to respond to us.
Should have waited till Sunday, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Less-
So,
Charlie,
I appreciate your global approach and don't forget the hard assets, maybe like in the area of the fair where there's going to be a lot of activity, we want to look at maybe adding a traffic lane or some kind of infrastructure change to help the traffic flow. Not just look at the personnel, but let's look at the
yes. So-
physical assets. And also I know when someone wants to use a park for a private event, they have to post an insurance policy. Now, if that's an ordinance or requirement, it's probably a better question for the town attorney. Can we require some kind of bond or insurance policy? Like if this promoter didn't want to pay the overtime for the police, what recourse would we have without?
We have limited recourse right now, but also in that application, there's a section in there about risk management. Where you get the information. We're not capturing that information in our permit process now. So in the proposal I have with that, I think that that's important that we capture that information up front. And I know you said Guilford. Did you know that they got thrown out of Guilford?
no,
Oh, yeah, then they were going back. So, yeah, that, I thought maybe you said that because of what happened there.
so what do you think about something like that?
Yeah, I mean, typically there's a permit application process.
Correct. We have that.
And the application requires the kind of information that Chief is talking about. The application requires a certificate of insurance, naming the town as an additional insured and waiving subrogation rights. The application contains a broad indemnification provision. I mean, I draft these things all the time, even on, North Haven, for example, the North Haven Fairgrounds are not owned by the town of North Haven.
Okay.
They're owned by a private group, North
Yeah.
Haven Fair Association.
Yep.
The property, although it abuts 91, it also abuts a neighborhood. So we have a process where they have to come to us so many weeks ahead of time because they don't just have the fair there.
Yeah, they
They
got
have auctions of construction equipment and all kinds of, axe throwing events and Irish Fest and Renaissance Fair and all these different events. And so we have police, fire, land use. We have a whole sequence of regulatory processes that they have to go through so that we can plan for it because it's right off of Route 5, which is a main
Yeah,
high traffic,
yeah, there, yeah. I
4-lane road in town. So
think we need to
this
look
is-
at some
this
of
is
that.
Typical, I mean,
Yeah.
we have gathering permit in Cheshire, for example. Most towns have a process like this.
We have it, it's just not as, I think we looked into it, not as,
Beefed up.
yes, not as thorough as it should be. Certainly with the, I don't even know what's in the, I mean, we'll find out what's in the Lions contract, but what liability, we don't know that because, it's private,
Never seen it. no.
private to private, right? So we haven't seen that, but
Will this require an ordinance to enforce this?
No,
No.
no, because we have the right under public safety, right? And obviously it's abutting our property, so yeah, we'll figure it out, chief.
adopted as a policy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll work on it. Not in 2 weeks, but 2 weeks, at least we know. But I know, we're working. I mean, this is a little bit longer term plan, but we got it, yeah, we got it. Any more questions, folks?
Yeah, because, one thing too, Chief, just to add to this is that when we discussed this at the last town council meeting, and I had mentioned you got actually close to 100 vendors, we were both surprised, and that probably added to a lot of the increased capacity at that festival.
Yeah, some of the stuff we heard today, one of our issues was that the different department heads, we didn't share the information that everybody got a piece of and, or maybe didn't have any of it, So that's why I propose having a committee, a special events committee, or somebody to coordinate. So when P&Z finds out something and they tell the health department, finding out today that there's 30 permits already issued for the upcoming event in August is intelligence to us. So I know, okay, it's not 12 like they're claiming. So that's going to increase the crowd. And I got to be honest, I'm going to be gun shy because I'm going to be saying, well, if they've got 30 now and we've got 2 weeks to go and it's the same people, but they never had a big crowd before, but the comments in the community, by and large, the people outside the community thought the Pickle Festival was great. Can't wait till next year. I mean, we have to think about, okay, what are we going to bring in for resources? And then we've got to make sure we bill for all the costs of the resources.
Oh, absolutely.
That's another. But like I said, that costs a lot of planning.
And you could probably end up with 90 vendors at this thing too, instead of, with the increase between the time now and the time that thing starts. It could increase significantly.
Yeah, and we're using this as an example, but this could happen with any group.
Oh, absolutely.
I
I
mean,
agree.
you're not
I
gonna
agree
get a
with that.
big crowd at the high school for a dance recital, but when you're talking fairgrounds or big land masses with these types of events, and we're post-COVID, people are coming out. There's a lot of reasons why the numbers keep going up on these events, and we need to be a little bit more prepared. So that's what I was hoping to move forward with.
All right, appreciate it, chief.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Grab, tackle them in the hallway. Get them out there, Bruce. Get them.
That's over.
Yeah, yes,
Say that out loud.
yes. Okay, we're done with our audience of citizens. We'll go ahead and, other than thank, the concert went off well at St. Paul in conjunction with the town. That did great. And there's another nice event Friday night at the Bethany Covenant Church with the Berlin Theater Guild, I think they're called now, with their presentation of Brigadoon. That was a nice event for town. So with that, we will move on to our meeting agenda. Ooh, hallelujah. Got a lot to talk about tonight. That's okay. It's all good. So we have a consent agenda. We have 5 items on there. I'm not going to run through them at this point. We've all read them before. They are all donations to different groups in town, be it the library, police cadet program, canine program, Berlin Animal Control. So we can go ahead and take a motion.
I move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, so moved. On to new business.
Great, thank you, Mr. Mayor. First item on the agenda is the appropriation approval of fiscal year 25 general fund unassigned balance to the town-wide sewer system study. Unless you have any other questions, Ray already gave you an overview. This is why we had the town meeting, and everybody voted to send this forward. And this time we are actually asking you to approve the town manager to enter into an agreement with Haley Ward.
Yes, thank you, Ray, for, last meeting, and then we had our public meeting, so we're well informed. Is there any last questions for Ray? We're good? All right. So we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Move to authorize the town manager to enter into an agreement with Haley Ward Engineers in the amount of $140,000 to study the 3 water sewer systems in Berlin, namely Berlin Water Control, Kensington Fire District, and Worthington Fire District.
Thank you. Second. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved.
I want to thank
Yes,
everybody. and
yes, thank you.
Thank the town council for the support. Attorney D'Onofrio for the FOI information, because that makes it available to the consultant to work on. Board members who are very supportive. And Arosha, I have the Arosha's, the contract ready for you to sign on Friday. It'll be hopefully maybe the last thing you do.
One last official act. Oh.
Board of Finance is on, it's on the schedule for Board of Finance for approval on Thursday.
Thursday, right? Okay, yeah. Great.
Thank you
Yeah,
again.
thank you, Ray.
Excellent. Thank you, Ray. All right.
Agenda item number 2 is related to the work that we are doing with the police station renovation. And there's a need to spend some additional resources that are related to the replacement of video camera monitoring system. We have the money for that. It's needs to come out of the contingency, but I think Deputy Chief Drew Gallup is here to give you a quick overview of why we need the funds.
Welcome, Chief. Long time no see. Haven't seen you for-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Happy to be here. I'm happy that I'm not speaking on the Pickle Fest. So, we have a situation where we have built, we're expanding the police department. As part of the regular police department, we have cameras capable of video and audio within the police department. We had a system in place to handle that. The system that we had in place was not going to be able to handle the cameras from the new edition. It would have overloaded that system. So we needed a new system anyways. In the interim, after that expansion project started, our current system failed. It was a very old system. It failed. It could not be updated or fixed. It was unfeasible at that time. Our service company, Norcom, came in and put in a temporary system for us to be used temporarily until we were able to purchase a new system that would be able to handle all the cameras. This temporary system that is in there can handle the cameras we have existing in the police department, but not any additional cameras. It's already overloaded to the point that it is. So that system would not be capable of handling the new edition cameras. So where we are is this has been going on for a while, and we knew that this needed to be replaced, but there hasn't really been any direction yet. And that's kind of why we sent this back to you and asked you to pass it back to PBC and say, how are we going to pay for this system? We're about 2 months from completion, and there are some areas of the new police department, like the Sally Port, that by law, we have to record both audio and video. And we will not be able to do that, which means we won't even be able to use some of the spaces in the new edition until this new system is in place. So I know there is money available in contingency or other parts of this project. So really, we're just asking that it go back to PBC and have them take another look at it and make a suggestion. This is how I think we should pay for it. And then at some point, it would have to come back, I would assume, to you, final approval. Or if they can't decide what they want to do, then it would kind of be left up to you to decide. So it's coming to the point where we kind of need to, something has to be done.
Gotta know. How well, I'm just curious, just out of curiosity sake, how old is that? The old system? How long has that been there? The old video system?
Since probably before I was there.
Really?
Yeah, there was an old system called the Milestone system.
Oh, Milestone.
Really outdated as it was.
Outdated, yeah.
And we were starting to have some issues with it. So we knew it needed some work anyways, and this is kind of the impetus for moving forward on that.
Just curious. Gotcha. Okay, questions for the chief? No? Okay, I think we all recognize we need what we need to do to upgrade that technology. in the
Appreciate your
police
help.
Station. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
We got to do it. So we'll take a motion.
Move to request the Public Building Commission to make a determination if the updated camera system will be included in the police station construction project. And if not, to request the Public Building Commission to release $60,000 of contingency in the police construction project to fund the required police station camera upgrade.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved.
Right, thank you. Agenda item number 3 is a authorization for the town manager to apply for and enter into a brownfield grant agreement with 55 Steel Boulevard. And I think Jim Mahoney last time mentioned this. He was holding off until we had an interim because where the agreement works, you have to spell out the person's name. And by the time the agreement's finalized, there'll be someone else. So Jim, do you want to do a quick recap?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're almost there. We've got the financial assistance proposal that we've kind of agreed on today, and Arosha and Newport will be signing, and the next step will be the grant agreement. So we have to refresh our authorizations. They have to be within a certain period of the signature of the grant. So we're just asking you to refresh this authorization to sign the grant agreements.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Any questions for Jim? Been here before, so we've looked at this before, so no other comments or questions. Go ahead and take a motion.
Move to approve the attached resolution to authorize W. Lee Palmer, interim town manager, to apply to Connecticut DECD for a $360,000 additional municipal brownfield grant for 889 Farmington Avenue. And if a grant is offered, to accept the grant and execute a grant proposal, grant agreement, and other documents as necessary to secure and carry out the purposes of the grant, and to appropriate the grant for up to the amount awarded municipal brownfield grant account for 889 Farmington Avenue, subject to approval of Corporation Council.
Take a second.
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Hi,
Hey, oh, welcome, Donna. Hey, any opposed?
I'm here.
There you go.
Sorry, guys,
There we
sorry.
are. Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
All those in, where were we? No, all
Ayes. It
Ayes.
was unanimous.
unanimous. All right, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 4, when we put this agenda together, we were trying to get the terms and conditions for a sales and purchase agreement with Vesta. But we are not asking you to authorize the town manager to enter into a purchase and sales agreement. Since then, both Jeff and Jim had a conversation with Vesta, and at this point, we want to just update you as to how we plan to move forward.
Okay.
We also didn't feel comfortable just asking for a blanket authorization without specifying the terms and conditions. So
yes,
you want to kick it off, Jim? Or
Sure. So we talked about the timeline with Vesta, and the key thing that we want them to get launched on is the next funding round with Department of Housing. There's kind of a simple application they expect that will be due in September, and they want to have site control. That meaning a purchase and sale agreement at that time. But they think that the previously authorized exclusive negotiating agreement is fine for now. And basically, Jeff and I had a conversation with Vesta and their attorney today, and Jeff is going to work with Vesta's attorney over the next month, so that we'll have a purchase agreement ready for you with the appropriate terms and conditions for the September meeting. So what we want to do is make sure that they have a chance to get in that application round. And also the other thing is that they're doing some revisions to their site concepts, and they want to have a community engagement process, which I think Aaron talked about when he was with you. And what we're anticipating is that probably in September, they will have developed some site concepts. So we'll engage in some dialogue with the community, and especially the seniors, et cetera, about, what kind of site plan would be appropriate, how many units they can get there, and that's on the site, and that sort of thing. So that's kind of general update. I don't know if Jeff has anything he wants to add.
Sure. So the idea that we had originally was have them sign an exclusive negotiating agreement. And the exclusive negotiating agreement asked them to do a number of things. And their concern with it is that what we're asking them to do in an exclusive negotiating agreement would involve them outlaying quite a bit of capital for engineering and architectural and environmental items. And so they prefer to just go to a purchase and sale agreement. So what we talked about today was, revising the negotiation agreement to talk about which items we want them to focus on now so that they can get their application in. The Department of Housing round opens up later in September. So they'll submit an application probably 4 to 6 weeks after it opens. And then you'll have, about a 1-year process with Chaffa. So what they really need in the short term is access to the property to do some due diligence. So we'll take care of that in the exclusive negotiation agreement, and then we'll come to you on September 3rd with a proposed purchase and sale agreement. Rather than talk about it conceptually, we'd rather have the document in front of you so you can see it, given the history of this property and this project.
Okay, appreciate that. All right, any questions on this, folks? All right, now we'll go ahead and make the motion.
No, there's no.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
No, we're not asking.
oh,
No action necessary.
oh, that was the one that's in here, but that's the third one. Yes, okay, right. Gotcha, yeah, okay. No, next.
Number 5.
5, yeah, I'm just counting them off here.
This is, nope, moving forward with the 55 Steel Boulevard. And a contract with Laredo Engineering. Because of year end and PO termination, we need to revise some language. Jim, Alex, have you explained this?
Okay, yeah, this contract, we authorized originally in October of 22, and it's for construction observation. And obviously the project has changed a couple of times, so we've had some fits and starts. And as Arush said, it's kind of the end of the year, and Kevin and Lorero and I have had some conversations about trying to streamline their processes, and we thought it best to restart with a new purchase order as we're restarting the project now. So legally, we want to cancel the previous purchase order or a portion of it, or reduce it to what we've expended already. So we'll reduce it by about 54,000 or so, and then take out a new purchase order at this point for 25,500 for these kind of construction, related services during the construction period. And we'll probably come back with another amendment in September or October, but this will get us a restart, I think, a better focus on the project. They also have a new project manager at Lorero that's going to be leading the project from their engineering group. So that's our request.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Any questions, folks? All right, hearing none. We'll go ahead and I guess we've got 3 motions here, Charlie.
Move to modify the authorization to enter a contract with Lorero Engineering approved by the Town Council October 4th, 2022. Agenda item H6 from $101,845 to $47,274.33.
Thank you. Second on that.
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? So moved. Number 2.
Move to authorize the town attorney to draft a letter to Lorero modifying PO number 241372, preceded by PO number 231744 to $47,274.33, and closing PO number 241372 to any additional charges.
You second?
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so moved. And one more.
Move to waive the bidding process and authorize the town manager to enter a contract amendment with Lorero Engineering of $25,500 for additional construction observation, general consulting, and waste characterization services related to 55 Steel Boulevard engineered control project with cost be charged to the Farmington Avenue Development non-grant account, as this is in the best interest of the town.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed? It's so moved.
Great, thank you.
All right, thanks.
you.
Thanks, Jim.
Agenda item number 6 relates to the Deming Road Mobile Home Park. I think I mentioned some of the people have passed
Yeah.
and they have abandoned these units.
Hmm.
We have 3 now abandoned, but third one, the estate might be able to pay for the removal of the unit.
Oh, okay.
The other 2 passed and they didn't have any assets. The problem that we have faced over the last few months or so, almost a year with one, there's no one taking care of that particular unit
Oh,
and
yeah.
what's around it.
Yeah.
And there's some overgrown stuff and complaints of rats and rodents, complaints made to the health department.
Hmm.
But we had requested these funds during the budget cycle. I think we are ready to move forward to remove 2 of those units. Doug reached out to 3 groups that can do this work. 2 of them gave some price in the mid-20s, and they didn't commit to removing the hazardous material, asbestos, etc. The one that we are recommending, Earth Contractors gave a price to do both for $32,000, which comes to like $16,000 or so per unit. So if you have any questions, Doug is here. Given the condition of the park and the infestation of creatures crawling around, we probably want to get this going as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Hey, Doug.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, councilors.
How are you?
Yeah, it started off last year. We looked at one unit, which was in the town's possession at that time, number 16. So at that time, the unit was under condemned status, therefore no hygienists were willing to take the risk to go in there to do any testing at that time. So we got budget pricing from 2 state demolition contractors, very comparable in pricing, to remove the unit as assumed hazardous, knowing that there was some in there, asbestos, PCBs, lead, et cetera. Without knowing exactly what was in there, the unit costs for disposal a lot higher. So that was the baseline for the budgeting. As time moved on throughout the year, this third trailer, a state, reached out to a local attorney, handled the state through probate, got a quote to remove that. In doing so, that contractor is aware that there's a couple other units up, offered to quote out those as well, assumed the risk of the environmental testing because they had to do that for the private estate. So they're able to generate a report, get some abatement costs, and therefore we know exactly what's in those trailers. Therefore, we're able to get the cost down from the initial, remove it as assumed hazardous. So unit costs are a lot less. They're able to get some group pricing if they do all 3 trailers, 2 for us, 1 for the private estate. Has the hygienist lined up, has the environmental reports, and has an abatement plan. Disposal would restore the site to some capacity, move everything, grade work, seating. Be left with just 2 vacant lots. Hopefully rodent free.
So, questions?
Yeah, just one question for you here. On the certification of sufficient funds form, the last page here, you got quantity 1, price per unit 32,000. You're considering, just for clarification, you're considering both units as one entity here because it says removal of mobile home units 14 and 16.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
Why didn't this go out for a regular bid?
At the time it started as we reached out to state contractors to get a budget price for unit 16. And as it progressed, knowing that number 14 became the town's possession, that third contractor, who's also a town contractor, was solicited by the estate So as they were a town contractor, on-call contractor, they were able to provide us pricing. So we didn't do a public bid.
Are these considered a motor vehicle or a building?
It's a portable mobile home on a trailer.
So would the laws of demolishing a building be the same as one of these?
Correct. Yeah, we have what initiated all this with the environmental testing is a demolition permit required by the town. Specific checklist for environmental survey.
So this contractor has a Class B demolition license?
Are you talking earth contractors?
Well, whoever you're recommending for this, I don't know why it didn't go out to bid. I mean, that's my question, but I would think that would be part of the requirements that they be a licensed demolition contractor.
Would have to verify that. Yeah.
You have to, but we don't know that. So this contract would require no bonding or
We'd have to add that into the cost, yeah, bonding cost. Yeah.
I just don't know why we're waiving the bid procedure. You seem to have a pretty good scope of work. You know what's there. Why don't we just put it out? We have a purchasing department. Why don't we go to bid with these things?
Sure, we'd have to buy the environmental report from this independent contractor right now. We'd have to do a hazmat survey with a hygienist and get quotes to do the hazmat demolition as the town and kind of break it up into 3 scopes.
So the existing contractor did one trailer, one mobile home.
They quoted out based on assumed hazardous, no environmental surveys, no testing, remediation, just to remove it, separate it themselves, dispose of it. It's assumed hazardous, so it's a lot higher fees to dispose of it as assumed hazardous versus having an environmental remediation plan, which our contractors has in their possession. They paid for that, do unit number 12, which they're doing independently of the town. We add in our 2 trailers.
But how can we apply one unit to the other 2? They were built at different times by different manufacturers, I assume. We don't know what's in the other 2 units.
He has an environmental survey from a hygienist.
So he had all 3 trailers surveyed. The trailers that the people wouldn't go in because they were condemned. I don't understand. I'm confused.
We spoke to the building department, the officials, that some hygienists weren't willing to assume that risk going into a building that was condemned by the local.
But he found a hygienist that would. I just think town jobs should go to bid. They shouldn't just be handed to folks that we know, especially if we don't know to have a license to do that kind of work or not. And I'm not sure that license is needed because I'm not sure if this is considered a motor vehicle or a building.
It's a portable. I'm not sure if Corporation Council has any way on this, but it's a portable unit. It's a trailer. It's not really a.
It can be moved. That's old now.
It's not considered a motor vehicle. It's a structure, but I don't think a demo license is needed.
I mean, if we were to take down a shed or an outbuilding, would we need a major demolition
No.
license?
Oh,
We're just playing devil's advocate. If we were to send it out to bid, how long do you think that could potentially take, considering there's a health and safety thing with rats and everything else?
It's time and cost. So we could potentially buy this environmental report from the contractor who has that.
Mm.
Or we'd have to go out and get one of our on-call hygienists to do the report. Then we'd have to get abatement quotes, remediation quotes. So it's time and money that I think in the end is going to exceed this lump sum pricing for multiple units, knowing that we have a baseline cost from 2 state contractors, major demolition contractors. So we know the high end.
Right.
We're able to find a good happy medium.
We have quotes from the 2 most expensive demolition contractors in the state.
A demolition license isn't needed if it's a demolition of a single family residence that doesn't exceed a height of 30 feet.
A Class A, a Class B is required. At least that's what the state told me.
I haven't seen a drawing or anything, so I don't know what the.
Class A is required after
I don't know
30
what the
feet high.
structure looks like.
The state put me on a commission to work on the Class B license, so I know a little bit about it, but
Yeah, just based on, the budgeting, funding that's available for this particular site is the challenge that certainly with respect to Councilor Paynes's request that typically, yes, we would do multiple layers, bid this out, but because it's such a small scope and then complaints that are coming to Central Connecticut Health District, the town manager's office, concern of the residents, it's a health and safety concern that knowing that we have everything in place and we have an on-call town contractors already pre-approved, it made sense to certainly consider what they did propose. It is an option. Certainly, we can break this out and go back out there, RFP it, advertise it, look to that, but it's going to stretch things out a little bit and we could potentially come back to you don't know about the first meeting in September, but maybe you're a couple weeks on the street, all the reports, the testing, there's a turnaround time, notification to the state. A lot of that is factored into this other proposal, so it could certainly be done. Done it before, it's not very hard to break out, it's just, it's more time and more money, I think, in the end.
Thank you.
Would you say, Charlie, that we need
From what the state, building department told me was any structure over 30 feet requires a Class A demolition license.
yeah, below?
Under 30 feet, you need a Class B demolition license.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Different requirements to get those licenses.
We could do this contingent
They're
upon
less than 30.
Contingent.
licensing verification. This contractor did speak with the building department about the demolition permit, which is in.
Yeah.
Our office.
So can we do that with just with the contingency in there, that make sure they've got the proper state?
Can
and
verify
town
that, and if not, then we're
license?
forced to go out.
Yes.
We're gonna
Yeah.
have to revisit this anyways, but this,
Okay.
because of the structure, it's permanent. We even looked at doing it internally, have the public works department with their equipment.
Do it.
Smash it down, haul away, but then the environmental comes into it, and then resources that we're gonna tie up for, is that a good use of departmental time with all the summer projects, paving,
Yeah.
roads, bridges, parks, grounds, buildings, that we wanna tie up all the resources for, all we have is that 35,000 in the budget.
Can we tow it down the street and give it to CWPM?
We thought about that, yeah, and that's, when we called CWPM, they said, do you have a hazmat survey? I said, no, okay, well, then we can't take it unless you do. We can't accept it. We need a hazmat survey. And that's hence the 2 quotes from 2 major demolition state
Oh,
contractors.
if you had the survey, they you could tow it down and they take
Only if we do the abatements.
the abatements before you tow it down the
We have
street.
known asbestos there. We have
Yeah.
other known
Yeah.
environmentals that are captured in this report, and a contractor who we also use has vetted this out too. So I mean, it's been fully vetted as far as what we got, other than the clarification on the demo license, which didn't come up at that point when the application was not down the hall for a permit. So it was more the environmental survey, CHD, disconnection of utilities.
So
Can we approve that with that?
the contingency, that they have
If you're comfortable, with it. Like I said, it
yeah.
it
What do you
doesn't
think,
impact us, other
good?
than it's impacting the town right now. And
I just think things should go out to bid. It's a precedent that, that's just my preference. I rather think things go to bid.
I don't disagree with that. I just, yeah, I mean, I am a little worried about the rodents and whatever else is going on there, but
And I know time is a consideration too. so.
yeah. Well, if you can go with that, we can do that with the contingency of the Class B and or whatever.
verification.
else
trip.
they've been- Yeah. Does that make sense? everybody?
Yeah, you really don't want to spend a lot more money than we have to, but we want to do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we can just,
I don't think a demo,
well,
I gotta tell you
you
right
don't
now.
think you need
I
anyone?
don't think a demo permit, I don't think a demo license is required.
yeah,
Class B is, less than 2.5 stories or 35 feet in height. Statute, I mean, I've had demolition litigation. The statute says if it's a single family residence and it's less than 30 feet. Did the building official say that
We
a
haven't
demo?
had that in correspondence. This has come up a lot to building department, and it's a single wide 8x48. It came in on a trailer, dual axle. It goes over the road. It's a mobile home structure.
But is the building official requiring a demo license from the contractor?
There's only criteria in the permit for the hazmat survey fee, obviously.
Yeah.
Waived. So we
You
didn't
know,
say-
I don't think it's.
And like I'm saying, I'm not even sure it's considered a structure. It might be more of a motor vehicle.
No.
I got into the deconstruction industry, and to take apart a single family house, they required us to have a Class B demolition license. Even though it was only 1 story high.
So 35 feet?
Less than under 35 is a Class B, over 35 is a Class A. And that's what we went round and round about, because we wanted to take apart something and reuse the material. That's a whole nother subject, but
well, I wouldn't think it would hurt to leave the contingency in there. If we don't need it, we don't need it. I mean, the building official or whoever's gonna check that out, will check it out. If we need it, we'll have to, we'll have to get it, or if he. they
Sure,
can't-
just in
yeah.
the motion, the language you're comfortable with, verification of Class B permit, and any other language you'd like in there.
Yeah.
Pending review of corporation council, building department, local officials.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Make a motion.
Yes, Charlene.
Okay,
Move to approve a bid waiver and the proposal from Earth Contractors of Kensington, Connecticut. Also, and approve on-call contractor in the amount of $35,000, which includes a $3,000 contingency for all associated work required to remove and dispose of mobile homes, unit 16 at 14 at number 292 Deming Road upon verification of necessary licenses.
Thank you, second.
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all is in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you, Donna. Opposed? All right, so moved.
Did we add
Right.
the, did he add the contingency language to the
You
motion?
did.
Yeah,
Just making sure.
we're there. Okay,
Yep. Noted.
all right,
Item number 7.
7.
Is a couple of these annual requests that come to you. First one is a purchase order approval for sole source contractors, automated building systems.
This is for our building management system town-wide. It does all our HVAC automation, some lighting, temperature controls, schools, town buildings. It's very typical of what we do every fiscal year. The sum of the service agreements, and also any maintenance or repair that would exceed that. We exceed the $25,000 threshold, so we're asking for just the approval up to if needed. Typically, it's 30 to 35 a year unless we have any major breakdowns, repairs, but this gives us the flexibility throughout the fiscal year just to not have to bother you with these items and increase the purchase order as needed. Funding is in the accounts, both public buildings, and there's a sole source contractor, state approved.
Okay, questions, folks? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Move to utilize sole source contractor automated building systems of Glastonbury, Connecticut, and increase purchase orders as needed up to $50,000 in Department 61 school expenses, contractual service, and up to $50,000 as needed in Department 38 public building contractual services for fiscal year 2025 without exceeding any account balances, as this is in the best interest of the town.
A second?
Second.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? So moved.
Thank you. Then item number 8 is Department 38 and 61 contractual services, purchase order approvals.
Yes, similar to the last item. This is the lion's share of our major contracts. Chillers, elevators, fire suppression, extinguishers, fire alarms. Most of these are national contractors, also state, a lot of proprietary equipment we utilize. So this covers bulk of our major operational expenses annually within our budget. Just that flexibility if needed for repairs. Anything that comes up throughout the year outside of the service agreement. We don't typically do full service, 100% service agreements due to the cost. So we do know kind of where we stand. We do have baseline coverage with some extras, and then billable stuff comes in if there's a major repair or upgrade needed. So this covers everything throughout town, schools, all the major items within the building infrastructure.
Okay, thanks, Luke. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve purchase order increases up to $50,000 as needed during fiscal year 2025 in both Department number 38 and Department number 61 without exceeding account balances for the following national and state contract service providers below for associated maintenance repair service agreements on HVAC systems, elevators, fire and security systems, and IAQ mitigation measures at the town hall and school buildings. Johnson Controls, Train US, Carrier, Encore, Oni, Aiken, Applied, Swan Associates, Security 101, Siemens, and Belfour.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Thank you very much. Just a quick goodbye to Arosh, and
Oh, sure.
it's been a pleasure. Everything as we've talked, the professionalism, the support, his integrity, his character, his initiatives, he's pushed forward in the short time, but how fast 5 years ago. So it's a lot to look back on, reflect on. Thank you and grateful for all you've done for us, the support. Been a pleasure, and thank you. Gonna take a while to get used to the new person in chair, but thanks for everything. Best of luck. See you.
Right, thank you, Doug. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Doug.
Then item number 9 and
Nine.
10, from Mr. Simons.
9 and 10.
First one is approve the purchase of tires for the town of Berlin. with through vendors with government pricing. Go
buy
deep
some
in salt and
tires.
Michelin.
Let's buy some
Yeah,
tires.
We do go through a lot of tires.
Tires for all the vehicles, manufacturer pricing, which is provided to consortiums or government agencies. So what we do is we call the provider up, they give us the proper prices for them. We also have a sheet, pick out what they're doing at that time. Such things as, these cars get Whittier tires, that are pursuit rated tires, and some of those vehicles. Fire trucks will get Michelin tires, those are manufactured tires for those trucks, and so forth. So
Yeah, appreciate that. You get the short end of the stick tonight, but there's some folks that are still out there, so I guess you didn't make it too bad. You're getting almost
Not the
there.
grand finale.
Yeah, that's it.
Always Woody.
Yeah, any questions?
Parting gifts.
Yeah, that's it, that's it. Any questions? We go through this, we know we do this every year.
Yep.
If not, we're gonna take a motion, Charlie.
Move to waive the town's purchasing requirements and approve the purchase of tires from Connecticut Tire, Sullivan Tire, and DePietro Tire, utilizing government pricing from the tire manufacturers in the amount not to exceed $45,000, as this is in the best interest of the town.
Thank you, second.
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Great, thank you. Agenda item number 10 is to do with purchase of auto parts with various vendors using consortium and contracts.
basically, it's the same thing, but it's vehicle parts for not only light duty vehicles, but heavy duty vehicles. You can see in there, the contracts for Tasca does most primarily all the Ford parts. And then you have some municipal truck parts who we found that been better for us than another vendor. So you see them in there. It's actually 4 vendors for our primary vehicles, primary auto parts. The event that there is a outline, say a Dodge or a Chevy, we'll go back to the manufacturer for those parts and we can't find those.
All right, questions?
Nope.
If not, got we got 4 motions here, 4 motions.
Move to approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies using Sourcewell contract 032521-GPC from Napa Auto Parts for an amount not to exceed $45,000.
Thank you. Second on that?
Second.
All right, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Number 2.
Move to approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies using State of Connecticut Department of Administrative Services number 19PSX0189 from Tasco Ford for an amount not to exceed $30,000.
Thank you, second.
Second.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. For 3.
Move to waive the town's bidding procedures and to approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies from Monaco Ford for an amount not to exceed $30,000, as this is in the best interest of the town.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. Vote on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 So moved. Number 4, one more.
Move to waive the town bidding procedures to approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies from municipal truck parts for an amount not to exceed $20,000, as this is in the best interest of the town.
Your second.
Second.
Any other questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye. I
Oh,
apologize.
that's all right. That's all right. So you got lost in the universe there somewhere.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
All right, motion passes. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Watch out for pickles on the way home. Be careful.
Agenda item number 11 is waive the bid requirements for emergency repairs to the Saddle Meadow Bridge. This is something that happened where we had to respond the life safety issue, and it gives the town manager the authorization to allow Public Works to go and hire someone. So the repair is done, but might want to give a little background.
Actually,
like-
it's still underway.
Still underway,
Yeah,
okay.
It's getting there. Yes, we were alerted to the bridge issue from the New Britain Water Department. Told us it was a problem with the head wall. Went out there, took a look at it. 2 brownstone slabs had actually been dislodged, fell into their canal, and took 2 guide rail posts with them. The guide rail was there, but it was still kind of flopping. So I ended up reaching out to Mizzy Construction. I wanted to get this done quickly because I could tell if we went with getting an engineer on board, going through the bid process, and I knew it wasn't a big fix. So I reached out to Mizzy instead of having an extended 1-lane restriction on the bridge. We worked out basically a footing design for the guide rail post, which involves putting 4 feet of concrete down, 2 feet wide, coming up, going over the top of the parapet to give basically our guide rail contractor a platform to reattach the guide rail. So they gave us a price of just over $49,000. I went to Arosh, said, Arosh, can you make this happen? He approved it. So I'm basically asking for approval after the fact because Mizzy is underway. Jeff reviewed the contract. We got bonds, P&P bonds for them. So everything was taken care of according to the town, procedures. But they're actually right now, they're installing rebar. They've dug down behind the parapet. It was a little loose in some areas. They actually reformed that. And then actually they're going to be probably pouring hopefully Thursday or Friday. So,
Great.
I just felt it was more, plus the bridges now are coming in between $2.5 to $3 million. So 50,000 is really nothing to keep this bridge open, and it's
Yeah, no,
pretty
yeah.
good condition otherwise. So,
No, that's good.
yeah. I
Yeah,
had a 9,900 contingency amount, just in case we needed to really keep the temporary traffic signals. And Shuttle Meadow Avenue is actually, you can't reach that except if when going through Farmington or Southington, because it's a stranded road all the way up in the northwest corner of town. So it's like, the guys don't even go there. I think New Britain takes care of the maintenance because it's right up there and they plow it. So it's
Gotcha.
one of those stranded roads, but it's our bridge.
Our bridge.
Yeah.
Lucky us.
When will everything be completed?
They think it's going to be within 3 weeks.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, take a motion.
Move to authorize the town manager to waive the bidding requirement for emergency repairs, Shuttle Meadow Avenue Bridge by Mizzy Construction Incorporated of Plainville, Connecticut, for an amount not to exceed $59,218.30. As this is in the best interest of the town.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved.
Great, thank you. Agenda items 12, 13, and 14, they pertain to good news. Getting some money from Willard Elementary School, what's remaining in the contingency, and moving around to Griswold and Hubbard projects to get things started. So let's let Mike explain this.
I'm here on behalf of the Public Building Commission.
Oh, okay, great.
So this is their request, and I'm just the messenger, but I also agree with it.
All right.
Essentially, the first item here, item number 12, is to reduce the contingency for the Willard contractor, Willard Construction, by reducing it by $68,140 to make room for working on Griswold and Hubbard. And the project right now, Willard, is about 80% complete, so the PBC feels comfortable. And we also have $133,000 of contract allowances remaining, so we still have almost $400,000 worth of contingency when you add up the remaining plus the allowances. And that job is going along pretty well. I mean, the surprises were pretty much at the beginning when they ripped down the ceilings.
Yeah.
And we saw, was a lot of unknowns that then were known.
Okay.
So this is really just to free up money for a subsequent agenda item to follow.
Okay. All right, makes sense. If there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Move to modify the previously approved and modified not to exceed amount of $4,313,000 awarded to Allstate Construction Incorporated of Farmington, Connecticut for contract number 2023-20 for unit ventilator replacement and HVAC upgrades on Emma Hart Willard Elementary School to an amount not to exceed $4,344,860.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
Hearing no other comments or questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you. Agenda 13, gonna continue, Mike.
This is the original mechanical engineering firm, Consulting Engineering Services, or CES as we call them. They did originally in 2015-16, they did the mechanical designs for all three schools. Willard, Griswold, and Hubbard. At that time, the town didn't go out to bid, so they were put on a shelf. Then when Willard came back up to the forefront, they upgraded their drawings and specs, went out to bid. They've been basically part of the team the whole way through. Now that the town has received the grants from the state for Griswold and Hubbard, we want them to do the same thing. They already did update the drawings, but now that we have the state money and we have the requirements of the grant, we want to have them update and refresh everything again. So this is another sort of iteration of upgrades, but this is in preparation for putting the jobs out to bid. So this is becoming a bid package. So they gave the PVC a quote of $17,000 for each school. That'd be 2 times 17, and both motions are identical except for the names of the school. The PVC has looked at this and approved their proposals, so we're asking for your permission to go ahead.
Okay. Questions? All right, hearing none, we'll take the 2 motions on this one, Charlie.
Move to approve a bid waiver and proposal from Consulting Engineering Services Incorporated of Middletown, Connecticut for Griswold School HVAC Engineering Design Services for an amount not to exceed $17,000, as this is in the best interest of the town.
Second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Hearing no comments or questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Opposed? So moved.
Right, thank you.
Second motion.
Move to approve a bid waiver and proposal from Consulting Engineering Services Incorporated of Middletown, Connecticut for Hubbard School HVAC Engineering Design Services for an amount not to exceed $17,000. This is in the best interest of the town.
Take a second.
Second.
Thanks. Hearing no other comments or questions, vote on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved.
You're on a roll. Last one, yeah.
Yeah, oof, last one.
Civil engineering.
That's always the winner, Mike, the last one, but anyway, it's all right, yeah.
For the Willard project, CES did the original mechanical engineering design. As part of the bid package, we needed to get other extra drawings for the outside chiller enclosure, because the chiller was going to be outside, it is actually outside the school, as well as all of the underground utility lines running from the chiller enclosure in, as well as some interior like architectural restoration, replacements for the ceilings. There's also details on the pipe chases that they had to construct. The prior architecture was retained for Willard, has been with the team the entire way through the Willard project. So the PVC requested their proposals to do the same for Griswold and Hubbard. So that's what this is. They actually, and the reason their price is probably double prior of CES is that they have to produce new drawings and new specs. CES is just refreshing theirs. So this is basically to take us to a full bid package for Griswold and Hubbard. And this will utilize the money that we just reduced the contingency on from Willard. So we're moving money around to keep these projects rolling.
Got it. Thank you. Questions? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and we've got 2 motions on this action. Charlie.
Move to approve a bid waiver and proposal from Fryer Architecture, Farmington, Connecticut for Griswold School HVAC Architectural and Civil Engineering Design Services for an amount not to exceed $34,070, which includes a $5,000 owner's allowance, as this is in the best interest of the town.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Hearing no other questions or comments, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Second motion.
Move to approve a bid waiver and proposal from Fryer Architecture of Farmington, Connecticut for Hubbard School HVAC Architectural and Civil Engineering Design Services for an amount not to exceed $34,070, which includes a $5,000 owner's allowance, as this is in the best interest of the town.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Hearing no other comments or questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
See you, Mike.
Agenda item number 15. Show and tell you've been waiting for.
Hallelujah, huh?
So just a little background on this. We went through the public hearing last time where you and the council had some questions.
Hmm.
And I spoke to Kate and others about it. What we're going to do here is hopefully what we want to do in the future
Yes.
as a process. When I really think about it, those of us who are in town, people who work with these projects, we work with them every day. During budget time, we come and give you little pieces, little at a time, but then you don't have an idea of the whole picture. So what we're going to do is to, whenever we are asking for something like a replacement, give you a little history, when this was originally constructed, how much did we pay for it, what was the useful life, there's a warranty, what was that, and what is the condition now, and what is the need to replace it, life safety, risk assessment, and then give you some quotes and pricing. Once you go through the presentations, you can ask questions, and if you are comfortable, if you want to move forward, then we do the bond ordinance, not the other way around. So, and if you don't, we just stop it.
That's just
Pick it,
great.
right?
Yeah, no, that's the way it
So-
should be. Yeah.
We have two presentations, one about the athletic field, the high school athletic field. And the second one is the Timberland Golf Course.
Mhm.
There are two components to it. One is the bunker project and the other one is the Timberland Bridges. So we have two distinguished gentlemen who are going to talk about it.
That's good. Yeah, the only question I do have while you guys come up is, I think public building, I know we don't have anything from them in the package, but I believe they discussed these things. I probably am gonna want myself, if we agree, to send it to them and then bring it back.
But it's been sent.
Oh, it is. And
Right.
where are their comments on the
Not yet.
track?
We don't have anything.
That's not what I heard. I heard they didn't think we needed to do the track. That's just what I heard off the record, but so that concerns me. There's no comments now.
Well, why, we are not making a decision today. You're listening to the,
Yeah, but they had comments about the track.
well, where are they? They didn't. send it
That's
to us.
what I'm concerned with. So,
So,
why,
just so, because this is kind of a new,
correct, get it. I get it, yeah.
so immediately, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, Mike.
So normally when you do like an 824, I give the resolution to the plan and zoning. So we're trying to do that with, did we send this?
I got, well, just to go back, you gave me the referral the day of the Public Building Commission meeting, so it wasn't technically on the agenda.
Okay.
So I introduced it under new business, and there was one comment about someone recalling that the track was done 7 years ago.
Mhm.
So other than that, it wasn't discussed in any detail. It was, I just said, we're gonna be putting this on the agenda. It was referred to you. Kate gave me the referral the day, last week, actually, or,
day after
yeah, or 2 weeks ago.
So they didn't get to discuss it.
No, they did, I introduced it.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
talked about it, but there was an informal, one of the commissioners basically said, I thought we did that 7 years ago. But I don't know what the dates are, and I'd like to know what that date is, because it could be confused with another project or whatever. So that was, I think that was the comment maybe that you might have heard.
I heard something more substantial than that, but
Oh, like that $1 million is a lot?
I've heard that too, yeah. So,
Well, it is.
yeah, well, yeah, it is a lot. I mean, having run on that track just recently too, to kind of check it out, but I mean, I want to hear all this tonight, absolutely, but I think it's got to go to them. We got to
Already
hear,
there.
huh?
Yeah,
So
but-
you'll get their report separately.
We need their feedback
Yeah.
before we vote anything.
You're
tonight.
not voting on
Yes,
anything
Yeah,
today.
but they need more detail on the
Yes.
specs and the
Yes.
cost estimates. which
Agreed.
They didn't have.
Yeah,
So
okay,
I
that's
don't
what,
think they
that's,
have the full picture yet.
gotcha. And they should get this
I think it's
presentation,
premature to say, two
right?
comments at the meeting were basically,
Yeah,
sort
Yeah.
of negative with any substance.
and they should get all this too.
Then they didn't get any of that.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. They should get all this.
Oh,
and-
yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So we.
Yes.
The presentations were just
Get it
Yes.
today.
We're in
I,
the process.
I got it. I got it.
We got you, Pat.
Yeah.
We're on it. And there may be negative comments coming, I don't know, but we'll see if they.
Yeah, I don't know either, but yeah, so that explains the, what happened there. So they kind of got it, but they didn't really get
They
all
got
the
it.
information.
Paper, not to be.
Right, so.
Some of it has to do with the timing, as Mike
Yes, I
said,
know.
is that it was the day of their meeting.
Yes,
You had done it the night before.
yes, no,
So
I understand that.
that is, so it is, and I don't know, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
We had thought that we could bring this back to you guys on September 3rd.
Yes,
But if that won't work, we'll do it the next meeting or
yeah.
however.
When is their next meeting? Do they take a break?
No,
everybody?
they have an August meeting.
Oh, well, yeah,
So we think it's gonna work.
yeah, that's good.
But
That's good.
we'll talk.
No, that's great. If, even if we want to read this over and not have or have the presentation tonight, whatever you guys think. I mean, it's
We're
getting
ready.
late. You ready?
We
All right,
should
let's
go.
just do it. But we have the packets. I certainly appreciate the process we're working on,
Yeah.
you know, to do this. This
This
is how we'll do it from now on, right? Yes.
Educational for the council.
Yes,
So that
before.
some of the members who have not heard about the project.
Yeah, absolutely.
hear about it.
Before we ever see a bond request again for $2 million, this is the stuff, right, we need to see.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of money, right? For, you know, golf course, and I know it's 2 projects, but, right?
You're good, Mike.
We're good.
Who's going first?
You're good, Mike. Appreciate it, Mike.
Mr. Wood.
Oh, Mr. Woody, oh, good, good. Yeah, there you go, Woody. All right, we're good, Woody.
Do you have a laptop to screen share? You didn't bring it?
Well, we got this, we're good.
Okay.
So Woody, you did get the short end of the stick. You're at the end of the agenda. You got
I
the,
definitely. Firing squad.
you must have pissed somebody off. That's all right,
We
whatever.
have the hard copy.
Yeah,
good.
that's okay, we're good. Or Saul probably really got the short end.
I'm gonna try to go over all the information that I could gather over.
Yeah, I
the last
appreciate it. We
Probably
appreciate
3
it.
or 4 weeks
Thank you.
regarding the high school track. So the original high school track was installed in 1993 and 1990. That was $556,000 and it's lasted us almost 30 years since I
Yeah.
graduated from there. Okay, in 2008, they did a resurface. They stripped it down to the asphalt, they overcoated it, and that bought us another 16 years. Back in 2018, the track had started to show some serious signs of wear and tear. So all we had money appropriated in the budget was $150,000. And what we did is we put a new layer of rubber over the top of the existing track. At that time, they had told us we'd be lucky to get 4 or 5 years out of it. We are now going into year 7. So 2021, Board of Education requested that we redo the track. During that time, we were in the beginning stages of redoing Scoglio, transforming it from natural grass to synthetic turf. So we knew there was going to be some challenges, some construction vehicles driving over it. We definitely built a ramp so they can get in and out really quickly. And we didn't want to try to complex this job and this project any further. So when ABA and HI Stone did the project, we had them install a curb around the whole entire perimeter of the track, which it butts up to the field with an anchoring system. That when we came to do the track, that's already done, and that was $70,000 built into the grant for the synthetic turf field. So all the drainage, the curb, and everything is already installed. So as we went into it and we started to watch, and if you go to the second page, you'll start to see all the surfacing cracks. And it's mostly expansion and contraction. As it gets warmer and colder, the water is getting into it just like it does with a parking lot, causing alligating and causing small chunks to fall off. Currently, right now, by looking at it, you guys are correct. I think we can get 1 or 2 more years out of it. But it's going to reach a point that the track is going to become unusable like it has in other towns.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we're going to shut it down. The bad thing is, it seems like on average, probably 5%, if not a little bit more per year of increase in cost of what it's going to cost for the job. So if we wait till 2027 to pull the trigger and say we're going to do this, then we have to try to find a vendor, and we don't know what the price is going to be at that time. So what we did is during the course of the track, during the course of Scoglio, we worked with HI Stone and KBA to come up with 2 quotes of what that project would cost us. And then we compared that to other jobs that they have done. Southington High School, theirs is getting done right now. It's $750,000.
They're not replacing the fence. And if you actually look at the picture, so if you look right behind where the end zone is,
Yeah.
this thing that looks like a D, that is considered the D zone. All of their high jump, pole vault and everything is inside the bowels of their stadium and not outside, located separately like Biscoglio is. So when you go down the ramp, everything is located to the right. Middletown High School came in at $748,000. The jaw dropping, which the most comparable track to ours is Portland High School. And I agree completely. When you hear $1 million for a high school track, you're like, that's just ridiculous and ludicrous. The mayor of Portland does a good 12-minute Facebook post of the process of everything they went through starting in 2020. 2020, they had a guy come out, look at it. That's how you know that's probably going to cost you $500,000. So Portland then put in for a grant, got a steep grant for $500,000. They went into the design servicing phases of it. That next quote came in at $750,000. Finally, they went out to bid, the formal bid, that came in at $1.2 million. There was only one company that bid on it, which was Cape and Island. They bid on it for post-tension concrete, and they also billed it for asphalt, both for the same price of 1.2 million. So yes, $1 million seems like a lot of money. I've always been nervous that 1 million was not going to be enough. So the more eyes that, like you said, they can get their eye on this project, see what it's really going to cost, I'm all in favor for. But there's the scary part is as we prolong this, we're going to end up displacing high school and the middle school, all the students inside of the school and any resident that uses it, because as more chunks of this fall off, it's going to become inoperable. Then the next two pages are H.I. Stone's quote and KBA's quote. Both do include the fence of bringing the fence up to the current height that it should be per code for high school track. And you can see that KBA went with a different type of track surface than H.I. Stone did, where H.I. Stone put the sandwich in for $100,000 upgrade. And then I guess the last part would be, the closing comments and remarks. If anything you guys want to throw at me that possibly I can answer more about this whole project.
Anybody? Questions?
Quick question, it says that you installed a curb
Yes.
I'm assuming be like a border around the track and stones, including in their bid to cut it and take it out.
So the way they do the curb is they belve the curve down. So now the old track butts up to the new curb, and then they cut the curb so it's actually a straight flush cut. So when the asphalt meets the curb, it's straight.
So they're not removing the whole curb, they're just cutting it back.
Small little saw cut.
You said you think maybe we could get 1 or 2 more years.
Exactly. I think that gives us a better idea to get this out onto the street, get an RFP together, have multiple bids come in, so we don't end up in the case of Portland where we only have one bidder and then we're stuck with going with one bid. The difference going right now between post-tension concrete and asphalt is, yes, we know that with the basketball courts and tennis courts at the high school, they're guaranteed for 20 years that nothing will go wrong. But there's been some negative feedback with the post-tension concrete tracks. But then at the same time, you still have to get them resurfaced every 7 years to keep them within the warranty. And nobody really has said what it costs to have them resurfaced every 7 years. And knowing that it's costing us $70,000 in the next couple of weeks to have the high school basketball and tennis courts, I couldn't imagine what a 1/4 mile 8-line lanes would be.
Okay, questions? Anything? Okay.
So can I
Yep,
speak for
Donna.
1 second? Can you hear me?
Yes,
So,
we got you.
So I just want to be clear, the redoing of track, how many years? I know we have 2 more before it really falls apart, but if we do what you're looking or proposing to do, what's the lifespan of that?
So currently, just like if you look at when they did when they redid the running lanes, a brand new track comes with a 5-year warranty.
Okay.
So
5 years.
Yep. But if you went with the post-tension concrete, yes, it comes with a 20-year warranty, but you have to get it resurfaced every 7 years.
Okay, and how much is the resurfacing every 7 years gonna run us? Do we have any idea?
We do not. They promised me a updated quote, Cape and Islands did by Friday,
I reached out to them on Friday with no callback. I reached back out to them on Monday. And I reached back out to them on Tuesday with still no callback. So I have no answer of exactly what the cost would be. Sorry.
Well, they must not be hungry then. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, appreciate it. Yeah, that's good. You did a great job.
Thank you.
You did a great job. It was easy.
Good night,
Easy.
Woody.
Easy, good night, yeah. It helps to be at the end of the agenda sometimes, see?
Whose idea was it to include the?
Oh, you wanna
credit
share the
in
screen?
that for the
It's up to you.
I don't know.
They have copies.
That's a good thing.
If
That's a
you-
good thing. That's a good thing.
Was it your idea, Stu? Was it his?
Woody?
I was just curious.
Oh, what do you?
Oh, Woody,
Woody.
sorry.
What do
Was it?
Whose idea was it to do the curb as part of the turf upgrade? Sorry, just curious.
I'm already at the bottom of the list. It was a combination of KBA and HI Stone who have done multiple tracks and fields throughout the state.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Oh, there we go. We got our answer.
No.
Yeah.
Woody, I'm bottom of the list.
Yeah, you really got pushed.
Taking the credit, we never would have known.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you for having me here. Thank you for considering us for this bond. Thank you for Gail and Bill and Sebi and the Golf Commission for showing your support and being the audience of citizen tonight. If y'all paid attention to what Gail says, she took my thunder. So, you know, a lot of, from the 2 million bond that y'all are considering, the golf course is, asking for 900 of that. For our two projects, one being the bunker and the other being the bridge. The first one in my presentation is the bunker project, and of the 900, 600 of that would be accounted for the bunker project. So a little history in the bunkers. The last time that they were repaired or touched up was 2015 when we had a big storm. Sam DePasquale and his gang did the job. You see the cost there from the insurance claim, and the technology that they used for that repair was to separate the sand and the rocks and draining with felt lining. So at that time, that was probably the most prudent technology that bunker construction presents. There's a little more, elaborate systems these days, and we'll go over that for the future, hopefully for the future repair for the projects. But felt lining has a life capacity of 10 to 15 years. So we're about there. And, with the last year, 2023, we had a similar rainstorm, a big rainstorm where it washed out just about all of our bunkers. And when I say washed out, it exposed a lot of its technology. So it's starting to expose its felt lining, rocks and sand, and have gotten into the irrigation or the drainage pipes. So they have become clogged, and so they're not draining properly. But also the most important thing is the safety issue of hitting out of a bunker where there's rocks, the felt lining that's exposed. So if your club happens to catch the felt lining in a bunker swing, that club's going to stop right away, and your hand or wrist or elbow or forearm will feel the rasp of that.
Won't be pretty, yeah.
It would hurt. So we put their insurance claim on last year. We were able to get about 450 in insurance claim. 50 of that is, I think, a deductible. So the actual claim that were granted was about 390
Okay,
for the bunkers.
400 grand.
The next couple project slideshows, you'll see the actual bunkers from last year. Like the one that I would really look at would be the one that says number 2 and the one that says number 4. You see all that water there on number 2 where that was the morning after, and there's a lot of standing water that we have to do a lot of maintenance work in. And once you take the water out, it's not like you can just have people play on it. You have to put a new bunker. You have to, kind of maintenance or restructure the entire bunker. So when you have The current bunkers we have, there's a lot of maintenance costs, not just labor, but buying new sand, just about every time it rains and applying time and labor on that. So the future plan for the bunkers, if we're able to get the bonding, would be to put capillary cement rather than felt lining. Capillary cement would be if you envision a cement bowl that would separate the bunker sand and the drainage system. The cement bowl would have small pores where water can get through, but sand can't get through. So that's the new technology of bunker systems these days that has about 20 to 30 years of lifespan. Some companies give us, 10 years of warranty for the cement. So, it varies on how much years you get for insurance, or warranty, depending on the company. But the advantage of that would be obviously, when it rains, it won't be, exposed, and we won't have to do much maintenance work or put much cost into it. But that's, that if we were able to do that project, it would take 9 weeks. And we were able to get 3 quotes already because we had to do it for insurance. So that's why we've come up with the total cost of the project would be around 900K to $1 million for bunkers. So with insurance and the 600K, that would add up to that.
Oh, so the bunkers alone are $1 million.
Yes, sir.
Wow, those are pretty expensive bunkers.
But insurance
But
covers
400 of it. So it's really,
funding would be 600.
so it's 600,000 then with the 400 included. And the rest, I assume, is the bridge then? The other 400,000?
Other 300
300.
would go to the bridge. So that's for the bridge. It's total cost is 350. We already have 50 in CNR. We were granted 300 in LoSiP,
No,
but the process, if we use LoSiP,
yeah,
with the project wouldn't start till about mid next year to the end of next year because it's in a floodplain. So we have to go through deep and get some certifications or proper certifications just to get this project started
for the bridge.
for the bridge.
So you got another 350, but you'd have to wait.
If we went down the LoSiP route, if we're able to get it bonded, we could start the project over the winter or before the year ends, or even the start of next year and finish it, before we get opening day for 2020.
What happens to the LoSiP money? Goes away then?
You could use it for, depending on what finance wants to do, I assume they could use it for any other projects that doesn't involve the golf course.
Yeah.
You could use it for anything, so. But the bridges is more of a safety issue.
Yeah.
I think it was mid-80s, the wood was placed there.
Hmm.
So, I don't know if my pictures show it, but a lot of the wood is starting to cave down.
Yeah, it looks
where you
bad.
can see the track marks of carts. I'm not gonna test having a emergency vehicle on it, but that's really our main concern is, emergency vehicle, I think is 3 to 3 tons and, it's 7 feet wide. So
Yeah.
I think one of our bridge may be able to hold that, but I'm not gonna test it.
What are you gonna make the new bridges out of?
Cement. So, Earth Contractors and Cardinal, they actually designed bridges for us to look at.
Cardinal Engineering?
Yes, sir.
And will this project go to bid or where it's already assigned to Earth Contractors?
Right now, the pricing we have is from Earth Contractors.
They're very good, but you might want to consider going out to bid to some other contractors.
The only thing that I'm scared of is if we have to do
Yeah.
the prevailing rates for it, which would be maybe double. That's what happened with the bunkers. When we went to prevailing rates, it doubled.
If the town bonds it, do we still have to do prevailing wage rate?
It's considered to be a renovation. So under the prevailing wage law, anything over with an estimate over 100,000 has to be prevailing wage.
That's the same for repairs, Jeff.
Yeah. Not new construction.
We were
And,
thinking with the word repair, it would get through it, but
and you say you're gonna make them on a cement, you're saying poured in place concrete or precast concrete or?
precast.
There ain't no beating the unions.
Right
in
now,
this
the
state.
wooden, structures are on mafia block.
It's too bad.
So,
Right.
and in between the mafia blocks under there's stone support.
Mhm.
So with
a
the
mafia?
stone support in the middle.
Yeah, I know.
it's deteriorating.
Is that like a,
It's like a hate crime.
right? Is that an industry term, mafia block?
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Now,
is it?
It really is, yeah.
I mean,
Cement blocks.
yeah.
Oh, my goodness, that's.
Will wetlands have to approve working on the bridges since it's near a water course? Is that,
Sorry, say it one more time.
will there be a wetlands issue with working near the water course? Have you looked at that?
Well, the issues we're having because of the floodplain creek is with deep. Not an issue, but just the process of time and
So no matter how we fund it, you'll have to work through Deep's process or not?
when we bond it, when we use
Town
bonding
money, yeah,
we don't have to.
you don't have to.
Only because we were using LoSiP that we were going through. deep.
Okay, I still think you're gonna have an issue with the local wetlands folks, but.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. So. I don't want to say.
you know, that, we,
Not manifest that into existence, shall we? No problem.
we,
None.
we have a sizable asset out there that we have to protect. I spend a lot of time in the sand and I understand the problem, but the bridges,
What are you doing out there in the sand? That's what I want to know. What are you
Well,
doing?
measuring for shoes,
Well, that's what I figured. All right. I didn't want to say that though. All right. I didn't want to say that.
but it's in.
I'm only half Italian, but I get it. All right.
I think we have to advance these projects as soon as possible. The bridges are kind of scary.
Yeah, I mean, they're a safety issue.
Yeah.
You know, waiting for that to hit, it
Yeah.
wouldn't be the right thing to do, so.
Yeah.
No, I would say I agree. I think the bridges need to be done for sure for safety issues, but as long as it's still gonna go out to bid, I mean, I don't know if 300,000 is good or not. But yeah, I think, bridge, and this isn't something that goes through PBC, right? This is-
Yes, this will go over there too
Well,
now.
okay.
Yeah.
We're looking at 6 bridges total?
Yes, because one was donated, so. It's 7 total, but this.
One got
project would be
donated.
For 6.
Six. Yeah.
Bridge was donated.
By one of the local colleges earlier this season.
Oh,
Amazing.
very nice.
A walking bridge for hole 14.
Oh.
Great.
The card bridge, yeah.
Central?
Yeah, central.
Yeah.
Oh.
I heard that our grounds people built some amazing bridges up.
Yeah,
at
Woody's
615.
gang made some bridges for their park. Why you don't know about the donation is we have to get it approved and then get it.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Need our. Here, get it approved and then.
I don't know, none.
We didn't hear any, we didn't hear anything. We didn't hear anything. That's why there's gaps in tapes when stuff happens, you know, that's what happens.
No, the information on both these projects tonight was very, very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate the info.
So much,
Woody, you gonna go build some bridges now? Are you, why don't we get you? Why don't you, forget the other stuff. Bridges are more important. Yeah, we should get another Eagle Scout. Yeah, that's true. We do have that. Yeah, we do need that. Yeah, we do. You're right. We should. All right, we'll work on it.
if y'all don't have any more questions, I just want to say thank you to Roche for bringing me on and for all his support through my time here. And good luck with everything. Look forward to Friday.
It's all my pleasure.
Thanks, Saul. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Very popular guy.
Just for a demo, couple of days.
What's that? Well, just-
Today, right? That's it, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's good.
All right, we get to the final agenda item.
The final agenda item. Yes,
Probably
indeed.
recall, the Housing Authority
Yes,
spoke under the audience of citizens,
yes, they did.
talked about the difficulty they have
Mhm.
in financially breaking even. And they also have a plan to apply for a state grant that would invest in energy efficient equipment, etc. But in the meantime, they're asking the town to, they currently pay taxes under a pilot program to waive that requirement so that they could, be financially whole. So I reached out to Jeff, Corporation Counsel, did some research. There's a Connecticut General Statute 8-215 that allows the you, the town council, to do so, to come up with an ordinance. There are 3 conditions in there that's outlined. Maybe I'll, Jeff.
Now.
All right, too late.
Gotta be careful what you say. Have to watch it.
All right, back to the
Okay.
ordinance.
Anytime you talk about mafia blocks, that's what happens.
Walking me to my car.
Be careful.
I know a guy.
Stay on the right seat.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
yeah, so the statute that Arosh referenced allows the town council to adopt an ordinance. And the ordinance is limited to abating in whole or in part real property taxes on moderate or low income housing. And the abatement has to be used for one or more of the purposes set forth in the statute. One is reducing rents in that housing to a level below what they would otherwise be without the abatement. An alternative to that would be effectuating quality or design improvements of the housing or providing necessary related facilities or services in the housing. So typically what you see is an argument that, hey, by getting either a full or a partial tax abatement, we can charge lower rent. So if you adopted that ordinance, we would then enter into a contract with the housing authority that would abate at your discretion some or all of the taxes. So you'd have the assessor do a sensitivity analysis, let you know what the taxes are there right now, and get a presentation from the housing authority as to what they would do with the abatement in terms of one of those 3 statutory purposes. The agreement would terminate if the property was no longer used for low or moderate income housing.
And it would be, I mean, they're asking for, wasn't he asking for 3 years of an abatement, I thought?
Correct.
Right? 3 years?
Yeah, and then,
2023, right?
yeah, so that
Yeah.
was another issue.
Yeah, oh,
We
that's right.
found out at the meeting, right? I was asking, is it 3 years going forward? And
Right.
Joe said, yeah, and then Marie said, no, we haven't paid this
past
year,
due,
we've
yeah.
gone for the past year. But I don't think you can go back.
No, they
go
would
back,
have
right.
to, they would have to come current.
Yeah, so,
Oh,
yeah,
I
they
mean,
are,
even if you made it effective with the 2023 grand list, the first payment of which is due this month,
mhm.
They would still have to pay 22 and prior.
yeah.
Well, they already said when they were here the last time that they're trying to increase rents. So we already know, right? Number 1 won't work.
Yeah, I mean, look, if somebody
Yeah.
comes to you and they say, here's a pro forma, here's actual revenue from rents and expenses and our net operating income under our current situation, and here's what it would look like with an abatement, the rents need to be lower unless they're going to do something else with that abatement.
Well, yeah, what did he say about it, though? They're looking
So
for
the-
that grant, right?
Yeah, the $4.5 million grant that they're gonna invest in the facility
Mhm.
will substantially improve the energy efficiency of coding.
Yeah, yeah, that's
New
what-
equipment, appliance, all of that would ultimately result in lower operating costs for the authority. And the conditions of the facility would also improve. So would that qualify under the facilities or services improvement?
Is it all low income housing?
Yes.
So then you're not going to be effectuating occupancy by people with incomes less than the DOH levels because they're already there. So they're going to have to show you some financial analysis that says, you know, the rents are going to be lower because of this. That doesn't mean that the rents necessarily have to go down. They would not go up as much with an abatement.
Okay.
I mean.
Right. I don't know what the numbers are, but that's one analysis.
Wouldn't we, as part of all of this, be requiring some pretty in-depth financial information?
Correct.
And
Yes,
just the-
we will.
I
Good.
I
Like,
would.
think it's a pretty.
I
you
would
know,
wanna
it's a
see
little
it.
Disturbing to me that,
Yes.
you know, all of a sudden, you know,
Yes.
I would want to see it. I would wanna
I think
see
we all
info
want to see
from
it.
Not just like
Yeah.
spreadsheets that someone creates. I'd like to see.
Yes.
Bank account
Well,
statements.
audited financials. is what
Audited,
we'd
yeah,
want,
okay, yeah. Yes, of course.
So they had some categories, they gave me a copy, which was like a huge amount for administrative expenses, like who's getting paid what?
Yes.
Yeah,
What are they
right. I want it
getting?
to be really detailed.
A lot of administrative and contracted service, what does that mean? Right?
Yes,
What's the payroll? How many
Agreed.
people on payroll and who's getting paid what?
Right.
So I
Yes.
think all that needs to be part of the conversation.
yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think we're, you know, generally in favor if we could help them and
Yeah,
get
obviously.
the residents something nicer there and fix stuff. But before, we need to see
Do
why they
we
need to do it. Yeah, yeah.
Have enough money right now to get themselves current for last year?
Well,
Well,
It's not.
they have about 80,000 in reserves.
Right, they just anticipate running out.
Yeah,
within
they
the
are
next
running
few years,
deficits
right?
right now.
So they need the money to pay.
They have enough money to pay right now.
Right.
Current,
right,
but it's
But
still
not right.
depleting what they have.
yeah.
Right.
So what happens when they run out in 3 years?
Right.
That's kind of the part I was listening to. What happens when we run out in 3 years?
I bet you.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure it will. Yeah, I'm sure it will. So Donna, we're thinking, Donna, we just want to get some more financial,
Yeah, no, I'm listening, Mark, and I absolutely agree. I think that
Okay,
we
good.
need to have everything on the table so that we can review why we
Yes.
are where we are
Yeah.
and what's the, you know,
Yeah.
what their financials look like. Absolutely.
I mean, if it's, you know, all looks like
I'm all
it's,
for trying to help out if we can, but we need to
Absolutely.
be very transparent here.
yep, no, I agree. I mean, if we could help the folks living there and,
Yeah.
the housing authority, we're willing to do it, but assuming we have all the facts of the finances, right? Okay.
Which we don't have now.
We do not have now. No, we do not have now. So I mean, well, yeah, as quick as we can get, I don't know, Jeff, would they have an audit? The last, what, they get audited every year, I assume?
Subsidized housing, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
I assume,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So they need to have audited financials then.
right. I would assume so, right? So they should have a recent copy
We can't
of,
suspend like interest accruing, can we? Like, let's say we can't get it figured
Well-
out in the next 8 days.
No,
Can we suspend
no,
interest?
there's no jurisdiction for us to suspend interest or waive interest.
well, it's
or
just as
anything like-
fast as we can get the last audited statement, which I would assume, would
Well,
hopefully in the last
I think
year or so,
someone
right?
should Let them know that no matter what, we need to pay their taxes, so at least.
That
they
one,
do
the
it
back
right
tax,
away.
yes,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
past
do they
due.
have to be
Back tax
current?
is gonna have to.
Yeah.
be-
Yes, yeah,
Okay, that's
So
what
they
I
gotta be-
thought. They had to be current, right? Oh, Okay.
Funds now, I
Right.
mean, it's not, obviously statutory interest isn't right what it is,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's still a lot.
And it was 17,000 a year?
I thought it was,
No.
I remember
What
19,
was it?
19 and change.
Oh,
Yeah.
19?
Number said 19, but I think,
It was 19 and change.
Yeah, I think we
Something like
just need
that.
to
What do you think it is, Arosh?
14.
14, it's 14?
I don't quote me on it.
Okay, okay, all right, okay. No, we'll figure, yeah, we can figure that out, but,
Yeah.
so,
We have the actual
No,
number.
I just think that they need
Yeah.
to be notified in the next few days.
yes,
So they can
Yes.
make the back payment without being charged the interest.
Yeah,
so they at least.
right, they still got, what, a week or so, yeah, right.
Because even if we do go forward with this, we
They
can't
have
go
to-
backwards and they have to be current, so.
Be current,
Right. without
yes,
The interest.
get current and get us the audited statement as fast as possible, and we can consider it, the first meeting in,
September.
September, so which is not that far away, right? Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, all
Well,
right,
first to-
appreciate Jeff, the info on that, and, yeah, we'll, send, Arosh, you could send that message.
I'll send a nice note to Joe.
Yes. And that's good though, you know, if we could help, then we're glad to do it. Just gotta see some more info.
Yeah.
All right,
You want to say something?
that's good. Great.
Uh,
Okay, town managers report, the town managers report. Wow, historic town managers report.
The last one.
Last one. Oh, Roche.
Sad. Yeah.
Oh,
So you have in your packet, this is summer reading for you. Once a year, we do a update.
yeah,
Town
that's great.
from all the town departments on
Summer.
what they have been doing and accomplishments, big highlights for the year. It's a good report, especially if you have not seen it. Kate and Mark, just take a look at it.
Okay.
And they come directly from the departments,
Yeah, it's good.
so it gives you a very good
Stuff.
idea of all of some give statistics, some talk about initiatives. So I urge you to, print it, take a look at it when you get a chance. And if you have any questions, obviously, we'll be happy to get back to you on those. Second one, some of you are more informed about this, about the Kensington Fire Department and the driveway. Talked about this briefly.
yes.
It goes on the Matson property. And they want to sell the properties. And what we decided to do was to go ahead and get a price from an appraiser to find out how much exactly that piece of property is worth. It's worth it's $28,000. That's the value of that property. It's a small parcel of land where the driveway goes out to Farmington Ave.
Right, I was just curious how many square feet it is.
I don't have the number, 21,000.
Yeah, it's on here, right, Roche?
21,460, very small.
It's small, yeah.
So the next step is, because I believe the owners feel that it's worth a lot more than that. And what we are also trying to do is, if you have been to the Kensington Fire Department, when you're coming out of the fire department, it goes to the right. And that's where it goes over the Matson property. We are getting pricing on what if you just do it straight. White straight, have a new curb cut. There's some work that needs to be done with the traffic light and the lamp post and all that. Preliminary numbers, you might be in the range of 120, 30, 40. But Mike's, he's working on it, getting pricing for that. So you will have the numbers before you make a decision as to how you want to move forward.
Yeah, and I've been talking to Jeff Matson, so he's willing to work with us. Obviously, he's looking for his own side, and we have our what we have to do for the town, but he's willing to work with us. We really haven't talked numbers yet. We were kind of waiting for the appraisal, the official appraisal. We had some rough numbers we talked a little bit about, and then whenever Mike gets a pretty close estimate, which should be okay. So you think, yes, because you know what? Jeff is looking to do something with that building, I think, Mr. Matson, so
Yeah, he's the one who did our town. So,
reval, yeah.
And just
So-
before I start, just so you know what's going on, this was just some little sketch I put together to get some pricing. This is the existing driveway coming out. This is the piece that Matson owns. It's almost like a little bit of a pear-shaped. So when they take the property, fire station would not have any access. So I basically sketched in a little alternative driveway location between the poles. And one of the big ticket items is actually swinging the traffic signal that's dedicated to the fire station, which is on an Opticon system. When they come out, it automatically shuts the traffic down so they come out. That's about 50. I got that price today.
That's 50 just for that system,
Because
okay.
you'd have to actually, assuming we can keep the origin pole, you have to take the span pole here, which is pretty beefy, and swing it over onto the other side. You'd have to actually put a new one in, for an 8-foot deep base. I mean, because that is a lot of tension. So Anyway, so,
okay.
but I get, my range is between $120,000 and $130,000.
All in with everything.
Paving, new sidewalk, restoring the
Yeah.
asphalt you have to take out, and then swinging the signal over.
So,
Probably, and some soft costs too, because you have to go through P and Z,
right,
engineering plan, get permits from the DOT, and I hope the DOT would actually allow us to use the span wires because they're now becoming fans of those, actually those mast poles, which are
uh,
beefy structure. and
right,
goes
right.
Out without any wires.
So 130 to 140.
120 to 130.
120, 130, all in, and time to let's say tomorrow we said, hey, let's do that. What time to completion? Just a
We
rough
have to
estimate,
Go through the P and Z process. So that'll
Okay.
Probably be a couple of meetings.
at least a couple meetings,
Well, we
DOT.
have to get engineering plans and a
Right,
survey for,
right.
okay, so we're talking
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a lot,
5, 6, 8 months. something,
yeah,
you know, it's not
okay.
gonna be too
Then
much.
it's winter, yeah,
And an appropriation from you.
yes.
I Find the
that
money,
too.
yes.
Yeah, that too, yes, no, so,
Is the signal you're talking about like the ones they're putting in on the turnpike?
No, well, no, I'm saying that's become their new, like procedure. They don't like the swinging wires.
Right.
So I'm assuming for this estimate that we can reuse span wires and just swing and then have another pole like as basically the far anchor.
Right.
But I don't know I didn't reach out to DOT saying, we want to do this. Is this okay? But it is it is dedicated for the fire station and it is a town traffic signal. It's not a DOT, so I'm assuming it would be okay. But that's, yes, assuming is a dangerous,
Right.
approach, but.
so with that in mind, now that we have some numbers on
Right.
both sides, Donna and I have spoke to Mr. Mattson a couple times to just, and Jeff Pager, the chief of the department there, because he's worried too. Because the agreement that gives us the access is past the due date, but Mr. Mattson has graciously, let us work this out, so, I mean, at some point he could just say, yeah, all right, I'm done, and, get off my, I mean, he would never do that. He's a nice guy. He would never do that. He's been in town, right, forever, so. But I mean, we don't want to hold him up either. He's looking at. No, not at all. He knows that, so we've spoken to him a couple times. So now I think we'll probably, if it's okay with you guys, myself and Donna, we could go back with some numbers in hand and just talk to him a little bit and see and bring it back to, we have to, we'd have to approve it and obviously get an appropriation for it, obviously. But, so we have to talk to him now. We didn't really have any real numbers until the appraisal and until Mike got the other side of it. So we have the kind of the full story now. What do you guys think? All right, we'll just talk to him and just sort of see where we're at. And then we could come back to you guys and figure out if we could work that out with him. I'm sure we can, but.
Thanks, Mike, for pulling those numbers together and,
They're rough numbers.
no, I
but-
understand,
No, we
things
got it.
change daily,
Yeah.
but,
No,
at least we have something now that we can, something tangible to work with, so.
Yeah.
I'm sure, and the Matsons have been very gracious,
Oh, yeah, they're good.
lifelong residents, so. We'll get this all panned out hopefully sooner than later, and at least now we have something to work with.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah, he's been very patient. He's been very
Yeah,
good.
he has been,
Yeah, he's been good, so.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, that's what we'll do. Thank you, folks. Appreciate that.
Thank
part.
you very
Your road.
much.
Thank you, Mike, for that.
Just a couple of more
yes.
updates, that you should be aware, but I've been creating a list for the interim town manager,
Yeah.
sort of run with things.
Lucky him.
One is for the VNA with dealing with the Department of Public Health. They gave us some pushback.
The Department of Health did?
Yeah, DPH, they are the regulatory agency that oversees the
Yeah.
VNA. Because the size of the VNA, we can combine the two positions. Remember, we used to have two positions, administrator and a clinical
Yes.
supervisor. But for that position, you need to have the person qualified, make the qualifications for both, not just the clinical supervisor. So you need to qualify as the administrator and the clinical supervisor. If you recall, when we had a few years ago, we couldn't, and we had two people doing that.
Right.
Wendy and Jen.
Yeah.
But then Leah had both qualifications.
Right.
So she was able to do it. We have the jobs been posted for months. I've had numerous conversations with the leadership of the DPH. They are very strict about these regulations. They have to follow federal guidelines, and they often remind me that these people deal with human lives, so it's not something they take lightly.
No, of course not.
So the last time we applied for a waiver, they wanted me to have a consultant who was qualified that we hired to give about 10 hours of administrative oversight to the VNA, make sure that they do all the regulatory requirements, the compliance, the audit, all of that. That thing ran out on June 30th. So I've reached out to them end of June. I still not have heard anything from them.
From the consultant,
From the DPH.
the DPH, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking they might either ask us to continue with this model.
Yeah.
Or they might have a field audit here to see how things are going. They are under the impression that, not under the impression, they know it's a tough labor market. And I've
Yes.
told them, you got 4 people coming, a lot of them after the first call, they say, thanks, but no thanks, we don't want the job. Nobody wants that job.
I don't blame them.
So I'm just letting you know, there's nothing you need to do at this time.
Yeah.
We are trying to get them to respond, and the president of the VNA Association for Connecticut feels, and Sarah, who's the consultant, that they have not responded because it's more than a individual decision. They're probably elevated to a committee decision, so they might come back with some kind of a ruling to us in terms of what we have to do. That could be the reason for that. I'm telling you, is they might tell us only way that you can operate is you need to have someone like a consultant give you 10 hours a week until you find a permanent position. Now, in between, Adita, who is the clinical supervisor, completed the 6 hours of required credits for the management capability as a clinical supervisor, but she doesn't have a RN.
Yeah.
And she's probably a year and a half away from completing, but she's going to go back to school and do all that. That you're looking at 2 years out. Just a heads up, FYI.
And we had our head of the VNA board, right?
Yeah,
resigned.
Tara Strauss, who's the head of the VNA, I sent a letter.
Yeah.
Copied the letter to you. She was a brilliant asset.
Yeah, she was good. I had a long talk with her the other night, but
Capable, knew the VNA, came from, she worked at Masonicare, another agency. She resigned. She's
yeah, it's tough.
It's a challenging environment.
Well, I mean, try and tell folks that just because there's been a few things floating around out there again about the VNA, and I don't know what our census is now, but I don't know what's our census.
45.
Oh God, it's 45, so it's even worse than I thought. I thought it was 60, but so we're at 45. You can't run it with that, and it's we all need to know. There's what, 3 VNAs in the state now? Us, Westport, Westbrook, and Orange, I want to say. I think there's 3 left because it's not a viable model, and it hasn't been for years, and it's getting worse.
Yeah.
And even Kara recognized that too. So we're in a very difficult spot, Charlie.
If we're unable to hire such a person, what happens?
DPH will tell you what's going to happen.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Okay.
Sorry.
Really great spot, yeah.
So you were saying what ran out June 30th? It's the waiver that they gave us ran out, not the contract. with the consultant.
No.
The waiver, yeah.
So we're
So,
like currently operating without a waiver, really.
right.
Great.
And we
But
reduced, right? Didn't you just reduce 2 positions?
we reduced all the positions.
All of them, but
We have an administrator,
yeah,
clinical supervisor,
Yeah.
2 nurses.
Right.
And we have 2 administrative staff positions. One position will be eliminated in December, and the home health aide positions were all eliminated.
Right.
So 2019-20, VNA was losing 980, close to $1 million.
Yes,
We're bringing it down to about $500,000. That's the number now, where the budget is set up,
yeah,
right? So even if you maintain, if you can maintain
yes,
45,
Yes.
I remind everyone it's not a 45 using the census is not a good indicator of how financially strong they are.
Right.
Depends on the type of reimbursement.
reimbursement, yeah,
And whether it's Medicare versus Medicaid or
Yeah.
any other health insurance, private insurance, et cetera.
oh my
So-
goodness, yeah, I don't really know what else to talk about with them. We've beat this for the last 10 years to try and fix things, and it's been very,
I'm sorry, talk about.
No, I was just saying, maybe
The
we
VNA.
can put it on
We can-
our special meeting in August,
uh,
talk about like an agenda.
the VNA? Yeah, we can talk about it because there's so much misinformation out there about the VNA and what we've done to try and fix it. And it's just really talk about the lady talking about communicating to our citizens. It's just completely wrong what's out there. But we've tried to fix this now, at least since I've been here. And somebody reminded me they tried to fix it back in the 90s too. So it's just not a good model. And unfortunately, today's world, I mean, the VNA goes right back to, kind of like the different water districts in town, but yeah, we can,
So
we can kind of figure it out, but yeah, we need the new folks on the council, so we can bring up to date on what we've gone through to try and fix this, and
No, I recall you tried to disband it via the ordinance, right?
and we're trying to disband it. No, that's the misinformation. Bingo, right there. You hit the nail on the head. Yeah, that's not,
Church statement.
oh,
There's
God.
History here.
Let's forget that wasn't the word you said. No, that is, that's the word right there. No, we actually tried to get it out of the, yeah, we tried to get it out of, well, it's very sensitive because, we tried with to vote it, to get it out of the charter when we did the charter revision last time. And, people who, I don't know how much more blunt to put it. Both sides agreed. It was a partisan. We all agreed to get it out of there so we could have more latitude to fix it. And folks came out against it on both sides, and just no one wanted to vote for it and the charter revision. So we were back to square one, which we're at now, which we knew this was going to happen. Anyway, yes, sir.
The charter requires us to have it, but if the state orders us to cease operations for staffing,
That's
what happens to it?
all part of it too. So, yeah, we can discuss it. Probably not at the August meeting. We'll have enough with the senior center discussion, but yes, Kate,
So that was my question.
Yes.
Because
yeah,
I gave you the proposed agenda.
yes,
Tonight.
yeah,
All the backup, it was already for the August, meeting, that was already sent out to you, but now you have the paper.
Yeah.
So if you're going to add something to it, it has to be added. Thank you.
but I think it's too much to take on with that meeting.
We have a hard stop on that meeting too, right?
2 hours.
Busy, right?
2 hours, right?
Okay,
2?
that's fine. Then ignore me. We'll talk about it
Yeah.
another time.
September, well, in September, we'll pick a time. Yeah, it's a lot, but
Sure.
yeah, all right. So we're good. Thank you, Roche, for the
good,
update.
DNA.
Appreciate hearing that, actually, not even though it's
Um,
not good news, but.
On some of the good news.
Yes, good news, please.
We have been working, we meaning myself, Chris Edge, town clerk, library, create a town calendar, events calendar,
Oh,
right? All in one place. That resident who came and spoke to us
Oh,
about.
where you going? Where you going? Run while you can. Run. Yeah,
So
yeah, get out of here while you can.
very briefly, the
yes.
wheels are in motion. It's going to happen soon. It's one place.
See you guys, thank you.
It's going to live on, it's all in Berlin. And there'll be a link on the town. So town website or any place, you click one place,
Yes.
events calendar,
Oh,
and it'll pop out everything that's going on. And we'll
Oh.
sort it out by
nice.
events by Parks and Rec. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Board of Ed. So all the athletic sports,
Oh,
all
good.
of those.
Nice.
And we are, yeah, sure. Can you look at, no, forget the town calendar. Can you look at it? It's all in Berlin? Right. So that's the platform we are using. So
Or the website.
It's the Instagram, it's all in Berlin. So if you, town website, it's not gonna reside on the town website. It's gonna be on the, it's all in Berlin, but we'll have a link in there. Click it there, it'll take there. So it'll one place that'll have all the town events. So you'll have more updates when that happens.
Yeah, that's
And I
great.
think that'll be great. So Pickle Festival will be there, right? Not bad, it's gonna be there. So all the places to dine
Yeah,
in one place, right? All athletic events, any other things that are happening in
great.
town, sporting events. But one place that people are able to see everything from parks and recs to other activities that are happening. We had also talked about what's the way to incorporate government events.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's right, Kate has a calendar now that, not Kate, we have a calendar that you manage that has all of the boards and commission meetings and all that.
Yeah.
So
Just gonna go live then.
no date yet. We're just talking concept. We just hired someone to work in the very beginning. So sometime in the fall, I would say. Okay?
I wish we could find out who won the pickle juice chugging contest. I'm very curious who won that. I would love to know that, but maybe we can find that out and put it on the town website when we get it up and running. I think that would. Well, yeah, I think we know maybe you made that, but.
All right, couple
Anyway,
of
yes,
other
sorry.
items. We have the interim town manager, Lee Palmer, on board. The contract was finalized, the mayor signed it, I'll give him a copy.
Yeah, that's
He's
great.
already been with us a couple of days.
Nice.
Half a days at a time, because
Yeah.
I can deal with him all day.
Yeah.
It's a lot, right?
It is a lot.
Got a lot of things done.
Of course.
And also, I'm scheduling time with a lot of the department heads, so they're meeting, try to get a flavor of everything going on. He'll be back again on Thursday to meet with the remainder. And then I'll spend more time, give him all of the open list items. And then fortunately, the council doesn't meet in August, no regular scheduled meeting, so he'll meet with you.
Hmm.
I would encourage you to, either way, reach out to him, or if you don't mind, I'll give him yourself.
Yeah, give him a cell phone. Yeah, yeah, no,
you.
I'm sure we'll talk every day like I do to you, Roche. I'm sure we'll just substitute him right in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Plenty of stuff to talk about always.
So, and then Randy Frank has almost completed the interviews with
Oh,
all of
okay.
you and the department heads. Very soon she'll be having a position profile. But before that, probably give you a summary, might not happen next week or so,
Okay.
of all of the things that people
Said?
said, and, without just what topic or category.
Oh, okay.
No.
That'd be interesting to
his
see that.
Yeah.
I'm curious to read that. Yeah, maybe that's a game we could play. Who actually said that? Yeah, we could figure that out maybe.
You.
Yeah, yeah. I think Peter said that. I'm pretty sure Peter said that one. Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, that's good. So it's rolling along. Charlie?
In the past, we had to formally appoint someone, like when you went on vacation. Do we need to formally appoint Mr. Palmer as
We
interim
did.
town manager?
We did. last-
did.
When
We already
we came out
did?
of executive session, we
Contract.
applied him.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 So
We have
he's
it.
already.
Yeah.
And we came from executive session. I think it's in the minutes here that says we appointed him.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, we had that, was it the last agenda
Yep.
maybe? Yeah, it was the last agenda, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we get the contract signed now. All right, well, that's good.
And then, other than that, just a big thank you to all of you for being such a wonderful group to work with, being so supportive. And, if I had to pick a place to end my career, this would be the one.
No,
It's a cherry on the sundae. It's really a great place to work. I really enjoyed the people, the community. And I didn't really realize until like the last 2 or 3 weeks, how many people that I worked with in the community just reaching out
Yeah.
and saying, thank you, I'll miss you, or
Yeah.
Roman, the guy who was, one.
Oh, Roman reached
Yeah.
out? Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh, yeah, all this other good stuff. So,
yeah,
but, like I said, generally it was,
yeah.
the community itself was very warm and welcoming and easy to work with. And I really appreciate the support I got from the staff and the department heads. They were phenomenal, really. But I do want to recognize two folks that that I owe a lot to. One is Kate, who my first day, I still remember, she wears these heels. Coming down the hall.
You can't hear Kate coming. Yeah, that is
And
true.
One of the first things you said, here's a town charter, you might want to read that.
I could see Kate
There's
saying that too.
another-
There you
There's
go.
a big fat book called the code book.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Might
your
wanna-
reference. So everything
Nice.
that you need to know is in there.
Nice.
Just look at it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you gave me, and I mentioned this to the mayor, there's no one's here, just a couple of minutes. After the interview, you told me, go see Christie. She has the keys to the office, go run the town pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So, and then Kate comes in and then she has another stack of paper saying, this is for the council meeting. I said, oh, that's very good. Why is my name on all of this? Who put this together? I said, these are topics. I said, who talks about? I said, you present these things. I must have stayed up all night because that was like the following Tuesday. So, but she guided me. I remember all of you, the original 7 were very kind. Said, we'll
Process.
we'll,
And new for you.
help you out.
That was the funny part. Really brand new to you. I mean,
So,
as far as,
and all the time, the support that she gives to the council is,
yeah, we know.
without her,
We get that part.
so far behind. And of course, the best cooperation.
No, there he is.
I worked with
Yes.
so many attorneys
Yeah.
in my career
Good.
and.
There you go. There you go.